This half of Canadian professional football is brought to you by Labatt's Brewery as an invitation to give yourself a break and take 5 for 50 Ale, the bright-tasting ale with the big 50 on the label.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 1963 Grey Cup. This is Hugh McPherson, along with Bob Moyer, speaking to you from a sun-drenched Empire Stadium, where this afternoon the Hamilton Ticats, making their 6th appearance in the last 7 years in a Grey Cup final, will meet the Western representatives, the BC Lions, who are getting a taste of it for the first time. The weather has been more than kind, and it's hard to remember a day better suited for the Grey Cup final. It's perfect. There's very little wind, the temperature's in the low 40s, and the sun is out in all its glory. A pretty fair change, Bob Moyer, from last Tuesday.
It certainly is, Stu, and we'll be seeing a little later on in the program just what it was like here at Empire Stadium last Tuesday before they began work on the field that cost approximately $14,000 to the Pacific National Exhibition so they could get this field into shape. We have a lot of ceremonies coming up here in the 40 minutes prior to game time, with the teams still working on the field. The Hamilton Tiger Cats trying their place kicking from one end of the field, the British Columbia Lions working on their pass attack and making sure the linemen are in shape at the other.
Well, Bob, one thing this Grey Cup has provided is some of the comics of a few good lines. In the nightclub the other night where the Grey Cup pageant was in progress, the MC said that they were going to rename Empire Stadium Empire Marina. And he said at that time it was the only football field in Canada that there was a possibility of getting a good rice crop out of it. But Dave Doffany and his crew have done an unbelievable job in getting this field back into pretty fair shape. It's still soft in spots, but you'll be seeing a film shortly that shows you what it was like last Tuesday and Wednesday, and it is hard to believe indeed that they were able to do the job that they have accomplished. They've worked night and day, literally. As Bob mentioned, it was not a cheap operation because it was most costly, but nothing was spared, and the commissioner, Mr. Halder, said this morning that he never thought that the ground crew could get the field in the shape it's in. Bob, you've got a few highlights on the possible changes, if any, in the starting lineup.
Well, there are no big changes in the starting lineup for these clubs. The only 3 players who are not dressing for the Hamilton Tiger Cats are Easterly, Riopel, and Minahane. For the BC Lions, Moline, Schwartzberger, and Barnes are the players who will not be dressing this afternoon. This means that both clubs will be going with their strongest lineups. And the men who have been doing the big job for the clubs all season will be in there this afternoon trying to win the Grey Cup. For most of these players, it will be a first Grey Cup victory because the Hamilton Tiger Cats did not have too many players winning Grey Cup games. Bernie Filoni, their quarterback, is one who has won Grey Cups for 2 cities, and for the British Columbia Lions, only 1 player has played in a Grey Cup game before, Walt Bullocky, number 44, right in the center of the picture at the present time.
A Vancouver columnist, I thought, summed up today's excitement here pretty aptly this morning in the province when he said that Vancouver is going through an extreme emotional experience. He said that the Grey Cup being here with the BC Lions being participants brought about the elimination of 10 years of frustration and despair and hope and squabbling and even an investigation along the line, and that they thought that it is the only poetic justice that come along about 4 o'clock this afternoon that the Lions would be able to repay their loyal fans who have turned out in thousands each and every year. There's been quite a bit of humor in the Grey Cup this year. The hostelry where the Hamilton Ticats checked into were greeted by a huge sign that can be seen the length of Georgia Street when they moved into the hotel. It said, "The Ticats are staying with us. We'll do the best for the Lions." And last night I noticed the sign had changed. It said, "Ticats are sleeping with us, but we love the Lions." So there you are. There on the field is Bernie Filoni and John Barrow and Ralph Cesio, no doubt waiting for the officials to arrive to talk over the tossing of the coin. Incidentally, we know that the BC Lions won the toss, which was performed yesterday, but they haven't made up their minds. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Ticats is coming to you from Vancouver.
One interesting fact about the Grey Cup game and the appearance of the Hamilton Tiger Cats is the fact that the Hamilton team has appeared in the Grey Cup game 14 times. They have won 7 times and lost 7 times. But there is an interesting fact about the Hamilton Tiger Cats appearing in a Grey Cup game on November the 30th. They have appeared in 3 games on November the 30th in the past. Today marks the 4th occasion. And on all 3 occasions previously, the Tiger Cats have whipped their opposition soundly. The last time, back in 1957, when the Hamilton Tiger Cats defeated the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by a score of 32-7.
Well, the Lions are just now leaving the field. They took quite a bit extra time in their preliminary calisthenics. And, of course, the crowd, which is nowhere near capacity as yet, gave them a very rousing and encouraging send-off as they left the field. Now, coming on to the field at the 55-yard line are the co-captains of the BC Lions, Joe Kapp and Norm Fieldgate, who were down there talking with John Barrow and Bernie Filoni. A lot of talent down on that 55-yard line, Bob.
There certainly is, and that talent is now going to make the decision with referee Flight Lieutenant Ray Boucher and the senior umpire Bill Nairn as to who is going to do what in the first play of the Grey Cup game 1963.
Well, perhaps we can get a shot of them on the 55-yard line. They're all gathered together there, the head referee and the number 2 man, talking to the 2 co-captains. And, of course, the inevitable posing for the photographers. One more, please. Empire Stadium is beginning to fill in quite rapidly, although there are an awful lot of vacant spots yet. But it will not take long before it is packed to capacity, and it'll be a very noisy and encouraging crowd as far as the BC Lions Club are concerned. Traffic coming in, you can see over the top of the south end of Empire Stadium, streams of traffic. They had lots of problems here last night with traffic down in around the central area of the city, in front of the Vancouver Hotel in Croston, Georgia. Lots of excitement, and the shades of southern states there for a while with the dogs on the loose. But that's certainly one way of quietening things down. Here's the coin tossing ceremony. Ray Boucher is the one on the right as you look at the screen. Bill Nairn is the left. There's Joe Kapp on your immediate left on your screen, flanked by Norm Fieldgate. Bernie Filoni, of course, on the right, and he is standing next side to John Barrow. There are the cordialities just before they go out and knock each other's brains out. Here's the result, Bob.
The British Columbia Lions have won the toss. They get the decision. The British Columbia Lions will receive to start this football game. The Hamilton Tiger Cats kicking off.
Well, that was more or less to be expected, was it not? The Lions, certainly both clubs for that matter, were very anxious in view of the perfect conditions here in Vancouver today to get their hands on that ball as soon as possible. A lot of people are forecasting, it's interesting to note, along press row, Hamilton are pretty firm favorites, and they're also forecasting a high-scoring game.
Experts all across the country have been polled for this game, and most of the scores range around the total 40-point mark. They're expecting these teams to score at least 40 points. Some predictions have ranged up around 75 and 80. This would be high scoring for a Grey Cup game, but of course in 1958, the classic of them all was played here at Empire Stadium when the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defeated the Hamilton Tiger Cats by a score of 35-28 in what is the highest scoring game in the Grey Cup. As you can see, a lot of work has been done here at Empire Stadium to get the field and the track around the field in good shape. On the track, they have laid down $4,000 worth of plywood. Anyone building a home would undoubtedly like to see quite a bit of that around. But $4,000 worth of plywood stuck down on the track so that they would be able to manipulate here at Empire Stadium throughout this afternoon.
Well, they're starting to crowd in, and the field is really first class. Now, we're going to show you some comparisons. There you see the field as it is today on Grey Cup Day, November the 30th. After 3 days of sunshine, and getting ready to come on at the top of the Empire Stadium are the various participants in the pre-game ceremonies, and also those will be taking part in a halftime extravaganza, which we will be bringing to you in its entirety, and Don Whitman will be describing it for you. And that, of course, will be chiefly featuring Dal Richards and his very excellent BC Lions band. Incidentally, they have a little advantage here over musicians across the country, Bob.
Last night, of course, they had the Miss Grey Cup pageant, which was held at the Commodore Ballroom here in Vancouver. It was a rather formal affair last night. As a matter of fact, it's the first time that this affair has gone so formal. And as you can see by all the pomp and ceremony, everyone seemed to be having an excellent time. The highlight of the evening was the selection of Miss Grey Cup, and we'll be seeing her in just a few moments. But people from all over Canada gathered last night to watch these beauties parade. And makeup time, of course, is very important to all of these girls so that they can put on their best appearance for everyone. This is the final in a week of judging, which has seen the girls appear at various ceremonies throughout Grey Cup week. They've been an extremely busy bunch. And as the girls start to parade for the audience at the Commodore here in Vancouver last night, a lot of applause for a lot of pretty girls from all across Canada. These girls certainly enjoyed themselves throughout the week, most of them in an affair of this type for the first time, of course. When the announcement of the winner comes, the look of surprise on her face is gratifying. A jammed crowd at the Commodore last night, and they had a lot of entertainment to watch, and the girls paraded in their evening gowns and, of course, in their official uniforms of their respective clubs. Then the big moment, the crowning of the Queen, and she looked so surprised. The Queen, Miss Edmonton Eskimo, Miss Daleen Henderson, a 19-year-old from the city of Edmonton, crowned by Miss Canada, Miss Carol Ann Balmer.
This particular Grey Cup this year has been one of the best as far as the TV, press, and radio boys have been concerned, because heading the two respective clubs have been two very intelligent young coaches who have not shirked from the imposition of an interview, and they've helped the press along with a lot of very commendable comments. There are the girls who took part in the Miss Grey Cup contest going to their seats. The young lady with the white session, of course, you have to guess not very long, is the young lady from Calgary. Some of the more famous quotes that have been said in Grey Cups is appearing in one of the Vancouver papers. In 1962, of course, the most recent, Jim Trimble said, "We'll waffle them." The score was Winnipeg 28, Hamilton 27. In 1956, Doug P. Head Walker of Montreal said, "I think we have a better offense than the Eskimos, and we are sure to score a lot of points." The Eskimos scored 50, and Montreal scored 27. That makes Anderson, of course, you'll be hearing a few moments later, smile. 1955, P. Head Walker learned his lesson, and hadn't learned his lesson. At least he wasn't talking, but one of his players, Warren Sheridan, said, "The Alouettes could have beaten the Eskimos 9 times out of 10 last year." The Eskimos made him eat his words. Edmonton 34, Montreal 19. In 1954, things were never so quiet. Both coaches were quietly confident of victory, but it didn't rub off on the Owls. Chuck Hunziker, of course, famous fumble, gave the Edmonton club a 26-25 win. Now, there is a shot of the BC band, conducted by Dal Richards. They will be bringing in the participants, and this is always one of the more exciting moments, Bob.
It certainly is. This band is a band that has been around in Vancouver for quite some time. They've officially dubbed it the Canadian Football League Band for this Grey Cup game, but as the people in Vancouver have known since 1954, this is one of the most entertaining groups in the business. This group has been entertaining at the BC games officially since 1956. And the jackets they're wearing are bright red, orange, and black. With those boaters, it's a very fitting effect, believe me. As a matter of fact, they have a special tartan put together that they call it a tartan. They say that maybe some of these clans overseas would argue, but this is a tartan.
We get an argument from some Scotch people I know. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
With me now is Ken Plain, the all-star quarterback of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Ken, what has been your most satisfying play in Canadian football?
Well, Phil, I think I'd have to say the 1961 Grey Cup game against Hamilton. We were playing in the second overtime period with the score still tied 14-14. We had moved the ball to the 18-yard line, and this is where my most satisfying play occurred.
Now, let's take a look at that big play.
With a 2nd and 11 situation, and I dropped back to pass. Finding no one open, I slid to my right, found a little running room, and the next thing I knew, I was in the end zone for a touchdown.
Thanks, Ken. Now let's take a look at that big play again.
Score is tied, final play. That satisfying feeling is on its way. Where there's action, satisfaction's here to stay with Labatt's IPA.
What an ale, brewed by Labatt Breweries to satisfy you.
Well, there are the strains of the first music of the afternoon. Val Richards and the BC Lions, of course, are playing the familiar Down the Field. And, of course, they're going to include You've Got to Be a Football Hero. No Saturday afternoon or Grey Cup or any game for that matter would be complete. So let's listen to the band for a moment.
The original Little Leo was Canada's outstanding swimmer, Mary Stewart, who outgrew her role and, of course, has now been replaced. She's followed by the BC Lions cheerleaders carrying their extremely colorful pom-poms.
A lot of credit is due to the organization behind the halftime entertainment stage here at the Empire Stadium. Throughout the year, we were here on several occasions to televise some of the Western games, and on the occasions when the weather was somewhat inclement, didn't stop any of these young ladies.
Well, Stu, one thing about it, the field that the girls are walking over at the present time looks perfect. And as you and I have mentioned several times since we started here this afternoon, this is not the way it was earlier in the week. The field at Empire Stadium was a quagmire, there's no doubt about that. And as we take a look, as Slim Delbridge, the president of the BC Lions, Dave Stryan, the coach of the club, and several other officials take a look at the field, we find that they're walking in nothing but mire, and it's very easy to lose your rubber in here, as Dave Doffany, the general manager of the stadium, finds out. But this was the condition on Tuesday. Then, by Wednesday, they had the tarpaulin laid all over the field, and they had it laid on top of much of the plywood that is now bordering the track area. They put the blowers underneath. These blowers are very expensive. There were 60 of them. They cost a lot of money to operate, said Dave Doffany this morning, and the people who say that it cost them about $8,000 or $9,000 to get this field dried out. Dave Stryan crawling from underneath the tarpaulin after taking a look at the field. He found it rather hard to believe this morning how good the field was. They're laughing. Maybe a funny matter to look at now, but this is Vancouver as we see it on the Chamber of Commerce postcard. This is Vancouver of the last 3 days. Bright, sunshiny Vancouver. And the people here have certainly been enjoying themselves.
That's the sort of weather they should have here all the time, Bob. What we've enjoyed for the last 2 days. Summer activity. Fishing in November. Here's a fair catch. How our Eastern Broadcasting colleagues thought it was a shark.
Not quite as sharp, but it looks like one of those they had on the seafood luncheon here in Vancouver yesterday. One of the big affairs of the week, tennis in Vancouver at this time of the year. A lot of activities going on during Grey Cup week. And, of course, the Shenley Football Awards. Russ Jackson winning the Outstanding Player Award and also the Outstanding Canadian. This is the trophy. Tom Brown of the British Columbia Lions, the first trophy winner in the history of the Lions, named the Outstanding Lineman. The arrival of the fans, and this is when Vancouver began to spruce up. It took place on Thursday afternoon when the first big contingent of fans arrived, mainly from Winnipeg and Calgary. However, there were a lot of people who came in from eastern Canada, particularly Hamilton, the home of the Tiger Cats.
Up till Friday morning, it was fairly quiet out here compared to other Grey Cups, but the arrival of the Calgary contingent always seems to touch off the fireworks.
The BC cheerleaders were prominent everywhere. They made appearances all over the city. And several pieces of the Canadian Football League band were broken up, and they were spread them into various parts of the city so that everyone could enjoy the entertainment. Calgary didn't make it, but their fans did, as that sign indicates. And most of those fans here at Empire Stadium right now, and of course, there were celebrities arriving everywhere. From the east included a lot of colorful get-ups and also Miss Canada, Carol Ann Bomber of Toronto. And of course, no Grey Cup Festival would be complete without those pretty girls.
Well, the latest weather report, it's just tailor-made. It's 41 degrees at the moment. It's going to rise to at least 45 degrees. The humidity is high, 90%. The wind is practically negligible. And it's going to be sunny all day. And that's about the best news that anyone connected with the Grey Cup could have, Bob.
It certainly is, Stu. Can you dance this trophy?
I know the name of the song. That's the end of my education. You notice the smile that comes over people like Brad Keane and Bill Good when you mention that weather. Typical Vancouver day, they tell you. Well, we apologize, Brad, who you'll be hearing shortly from. We apologize for our remarks throughout the season because it seemed on every occasion we came here it was raining. But today it's perfect. And I still can't help but keep on praising the people who have something to do with that field because it is in absolutely perfect condition. Empire Stadium is starting to fill in now, and in practically no time, of course, every available seat will have gone.
Stu, it might be a good time to mention just who will be doing the play-by-play here this afternoon at Empire Stadium for this game between the BC Lions and the Tiger Cats. Brad Keane will be doing the play-by-play. Stuart McPherson and Frankie Anderson, the former Edmonton Eskimo football great, will be filling in with the color commentary. Great hand for the BC Lions cheerleaders as they do their Radio City Music Hall Rockettes routine.
There's not going to be much doubt, Bob, who the majority of people here will be cheering for. That is, the people who are in the stands. The BC Lions, in addition to being some of the most loyal fans in the country, are certainly not the quietest either.
They certainly aren't. And as the sound rolls out from under these covered stands at Empire Stadium, And this, of course, has been a question as to why they covered these stands out here. Most people say it's to stay out of the hot sun, but as the sound rolls out from underneath these covered stands, it seems to completely deafen the players down on the field. An interesting thing about the Grey Cup finals that have been held in Vancouver, and this is by far the best day for a Grey Cup day in Vancouver, is the fact that they've had different teams out here on each occasion. The Edmonton Eskimos played the Montreal Alouettes in the first game back in 1955. In 1958, it was the great game between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. In 1960, the Ottawa Rough Riders and the Edmonton Eskimos. And now, here they have the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the BC Lions. So the fans out in Vancouver are getting a lot of variety for their Grey Cup dish.
There's another oddity about this date, November the 30th, Bob, with the Hamilton Tiger Cats that you have at your fingertips.
That's right, Stu. They've lost, at least they've won all 3 games played on November the 30th by a handy margin. And as we mentioned earlier, that 32-7 score by which they beat Winnipeg in 1957 in Toronto, the last game to be played at Varsity Stadium, by the way, was certainly their widest margin.
Some of the interesting Grey Cup records, for those of you who are statistically minded, there is Miss, speaking of statistics, there is Miss Grey Cup, Darlene Henderson from Eskimo. She's a young lady whose week has culminated with tremendous excitement and joy when she was crowned Miss Grey Cup last night at the Commodore. Her hobbies, art and piano, and she plans to be a model and take part in commercial art. A very attractive girl, and it was the most difficult job, I would think, Bob, for us to pick the winner this year.
A man who also had a very difficult job at the last Grey Cup here in Vancouver is Harry McBrien. On the left, Mr. McBrien is the coordinator of the Grey Cup game, and he is the man who had to go out onto the field the last time the game was played in Vancouver, in the sore spot in Vancouver, and inform the officials to call the game because of the crowd that had surrounded and completely engulfed the field at that time. The Grey Cup game in Vancouver was not completed. The last time it was played here, it was called off with quite a few seconds remaining.
Well, it's not too long to wait now. The tension is growing, and you can almost feel the atmosphere being ripped to shreds as people realize, as they see the cheerleaders and the pom-pom girls lining up in an avenue on the far side of the field, waiting for the arrival of the team. And they'll be coming out in just a moment. This time, Bob Moore will introduce to you the starting lineup. And we do not expect any sensational changes in the starting lineup. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
As we've mentioned, this is the first Grey Cup appearance for the British Columbia Lions. The team this year won 12 games and lost 4 in its regular season play, and then waited for the Calgary Stampeders and Saskatchewan Roughriders to finish their semifinal playoff. Then the BC Lions won 2 games out of 3 from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, in 14 games this year, won 10 and lost 4. The records of the 2 teams as they get ready for this afternoon's Grey Cup game. The introduction of the teams at midfield here in Empire Stadium. The Hamilton Tiger Cats are being introduced. The defensive side of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The left end, Gene Gossage, number 63. Number 68, Angela Mosca, the left tackle. Number 61 is John Barrow, the middle guard. Number 44 is Gene Sabatelli, the right tackle. Number 74 is the defensive right end, Pete Newman. Number 73 is the left corner linebacker, Zeno Carr. Zeno Carr is a product of Windsor, Ontario. Number 23, Bobby Kuntz, the middle linebacker of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who played offensively last year for the team in the game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Number 19 is the right corner linebacker. His name, Joe Canavino. Comes to the Hamilton Tiger Cats from Ohio State. Number 21 from Youngstown University, Ralph Goldston, who was tossed out of a Grey Cup game here in 1958, but has played a lot of great football for Hamilton. Number 26, one of the great players in the country, Garney Henley, plays the left safety for Hamilton. Number 22 is the right halfback, Don Southern. Number 9 is Joe Zuger, who last year quarterbacked the Hamilton Tiger Cats against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but is now playing the right safety position. The defensive team of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Ralph Golson, Bob, you mentioned, would have somewhat mixed memories of his last visit to Empire Stadium. It was on that occasion, of course, that he was ejected for allegedly putting a tag on Leo Lewis.
Now the British Columbia Lions come onto the field. They are led by their offensive center, Ian Hageman. 6'2", 225 pounds, number 42. Both of these clubs extremely large. There isn't much difference in the weight distribution. Number 54 is Tom Hinton, the left guard. Number 58 is Steve Potter, the right guard. 6'3". Number 68 is Bill Frank from Colorado, the left tackle. He's 6'4". Number 61 is Lonnie Dennis, the right tackle. Number 76 at the present time is Mac Burton. He is the left end, and it could be sometime during the game he will switch to sweater number 28, depending on just how things go. Pat Claridge, playing with a badly separated shoulder last week, seems to be better this week. He is the right end for the British Columbia Lions. One of the strong runners in Canadian football, Nub Beamer, number 35, the fullback of the British Columbia Lions. Here is a fellow who they didn't know whether he was going to play in this game, Sonny Homer, number 21. He's been with the BC Lions for quite some time, and as you can see, he's not running too briskly. Homer has knee problems. Number 18, a valuable mid-season addition to the BC Lions, Ron Morris, who came to the BC club from the Toronto Argonauts. Number 15, and wearing a cast on his right arm, Willie Fleming, who receives a great round of applause from the fans at Empire Stadium, the right halfback of the BC Lions. And now the quarterback of the British Columbia Lions, Joe Camp, big number 22, a great favorite here in Vancouver with the BC fans. The offensive side for the British Columbia Lions. The color party lined up on the sideline, getting ready to come onto the field for the official ceremonies here at Empire Stadium. The officials for today's game, the referee is Flight Lieutenant Ray Boucher of Ottawa. The umpires, Bill Nairn, Seymour Wilson, and Al Dryborough. The head linesman is Tom Cheney, and the field judge is Bill Dell. The officials and everyone else here at Empire Stadium now awaiting the arrival of the official party. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats take to the field while everyone waits. The Hamilton Tiger Cats kicking off to the British Columbia Lions in this football game. BC, it's a perfect day on a perfect field, wanting to get first crack at that football. The British Columbia team run the toss. The official party making its way to center field includes the Canadian Football League President, Eric Duggan of Edmonton, the Vice President of the Canadian Football League, Mr. Sam Berger of Ottawa, Mayor Raffy of Vancouver and Mayor Copps of Hamilton, who was instructed by his city council to go out and win the Grey Cup with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Miss Grey Cup, Daylene Henderson of Edmonton. The big thing about the ceremonial kickoff is the wait while photographers get into place. And of course, the kicking tee has eliminated a lot of the ceremony from that official kickoff. The photographers from Vancouver and all across the country on hand to record these proceedings for posterity. But now, Mr. Sam Berger of Ottawa kneels down, and the sign from the referee, and Mr. Eric Duggan of Edmonton makes the official kickoff. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
First choice, first choice. First in the taste of fun-loving people. First in taste and real good cheer. The first choice here of so many people. Refreshing, crisp and clear.
When you're host of the show, choose number one, just for fun. First choice of so many people like yourself. A clear choice when your taste runs to real good cheer. Here are all the answers. Refreshing, refreshing.
First choice, first choice. First in the taste of fun-loving people. First in taste and real good cheer. The first choice here of so many people. Labatt's Pilsner beer.
Labatt's Pilsner, brewed crisp and clear by Labatt's Breweries.
The color party of the Royal Canadian Legion makes its way to center field as we await God Save the Queen and O Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 week ago today, we observed 1 minute silence to the memory of the late President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. Today, we would ask that you stand and observe 1 minute silence in memory of the late President of the United States and the memory of 118 people who were killed in yesterday's tragic accident. before the kickoff here at Empire Stadium with the Hamilton Tiger Cats kicking off to the British Columbia Lions for the opening of the 1963 Grey Cup game. And here to do the play-by-play for you is the play-by-play team of Brad Keene, Stu McPherson, and Frankie Anderson. First of all,
thank you very much, Bob, and good afternoon, everybody. And while the color party is marching off the field, the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the British Columbia Lions are preparing to get this 1963 edition of the Grey Cup Classic underway. It'll be Don Southern, number 22, doing the kicking. The deep man, number 15, squarely between the posts, is Willie Fleming. To his right, and to your left, number 26, Steve Schaefer. And on the right, Ronnie Morris, number 18. Just about set to go. Coming to Morris on the 6-yard line. And he has dropped on the 24, Bobby Kuntz, number 23, in there, as well as Bob Krause and Steve Hamil. And number 65, Joe Picula.
Brad, if that first tackle is any indication of the hitting that's going on today, we're going to see a real great football game. Bobby Kuntz came in there and made a real beautiful tackle.
First offensive play of the ball game from the Lions' 25-yard line. Mac Burton, the split end to the left. Morris goes in motion. The pass was intended for the right end, Pat Claridge, number 78. Incomplete, second down. Line of scrimmage is on the BC 25. Barney Henley, number 26, defending. Sonny Homer went deep on that play, number 21, and they're going to have to hold for a jiff till he gets back into the huddle. The field tends to be slippery and greasy and probably will get stickier as the afternoon progresses. It went down to 28 degrees last night, and with the freezing and the thawing, it didn't help too much, but they have done a tremendous job on getting the surface playable. Second down. Now Beamer taking it to the 32. Tackled by Gene Cepatelli, 44. A gain of 7 yards. It'll be 3rd and 3.
John Barrow of the Hamilton Tiger Cats does an excellent job from the middle of that line as a inside linebacker and what they call red dogging the passer in obvious passing situations. There we had a 2nd and 10, and he was barreling in, and Joe Cad just barely got the ball off before he hit him.
Neil Beaumont kicking. Back to receive Southern and Grand, 18 and 22. Beaumont on the 17-yard line. Coming down at Grant on the 42. Tom Hinton, he ran it up to about the 50. Tommy Hinton leading the tacklers, number 54, along with Bill Frank, the left offensive tackle, number 68. A 36-yard punt, and the Tiger Cats take over on their own 50-and-a-half-yard line.
Frank, I guess there's quite a bit of importance attached to playing in your first Grey Cup, such as is the case for the BC Lions.
There sure is, and the jitters are there, believe me.
Grant is the flanker right. The first give goes to Pace off the left side. Visick, 36, coming in to make the tackle on him. One of the two inside linebackers. It'll be a gain of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Getting back to those pregame jitters just for a quick minute. In the warm-up, the BC Lions were having a little trouble at times holding on to that ball in their pass patterns, and this sort of, to me at least, signified the tenseness that they have right now. But they'll get over it.
Bethea flanks to the right, Grant to the left. It's to Grant, and the first indication was that it was incomplete, and now it's going to be ruled complete on the 45-yard line. Let's just wait and see. Bill Nairn and Al Dryberg. Now Billy Dell from Toronto comes over, and it is an incompleted pass. Flight Lieutenant Ray Boucher indicating a 3rd down situation from the Hamilton 53-yard line.
In Hamilton's pass patterns, very seldom will they send more than 3 men downfield. They
feel that it's more important possibly to give Bernie Floney complete protection and give those potential receivers sufficient time to get open on their pass pattern.
Joe Zuger to punt. Beaumont and Morris are back to receive on about their own 10 and 15-yard line. Tremendous kick by Zuger. Comes to Morris on the 6. And a diving tackle in there by Steve Hamill, number 15. And they'll mark the ball on about the 9.5-yard line. It was a 51-yard punt by Zuger, and there was a marker on the play. So the scene will revert back to the original line of scrimmage in the midfield area. A holding call against the Tiger Cats. The 10-yard penalty moves the ball back to the 43, and they'll repeat the third down. A loss of 10 yards on the holding penalty, which moves the punt receivers, Morris and Neil Beaumont, up to their 25. So they'll do it all over again. Zuger stands on his own 29. Beaumont on the 27. He's tackled almost on the spot. Down there was Bobby Kuntz, assisting in the tackle along with Gene Cepatelli. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Keep crisp and cool. Observe this rule. Relax. Take 5.
First down from their 28-yard line. The pitch is to Willie on the fly play. He's out of bounds on the 25 as Zuger put the pursuit on him. Canavino was down there. And also putting a chase on him was Pete Newman, number 74. There'll be a loss of a couple of yards on the play back to the 25. It'll be 2nd and 12.
There was an excellent example of why I personally feel that Willie Fleming is going to have trouble getting out wide today. Hamilton does an excellent job with their outside linebackers. As soon as they see movement coming wide, those two outside linebackers get right up in the action, and if they can slow the play down with pursuit, it's pretty difficult to run wide.
2nd down and 12. Morris digging up to the 32. Forced out of bounds by Southern. A 9-yard gain on the play, which will leave them short about 4. It's up to the BC 34. Tommy Grant and Don Southern go back to receive the kick. Neil Beaumont will kick from his 20-yard line. Probably take a step or two into the ball. Drives Grant back to the 28-yard line. Lassiter's after him, and he's got him. A 48-yard punt by Neil Beaumont. Number 34, Bill Lassiter, a young lad from Vancouver. Second year as a pro. Frank?
For our Eastern viewers, it's Bill Lassiter of BC, is one of the fastest men in Western Canadian League in getting down on these punts, and with his extra ability of being a real sure tackler, makes it pretty difficult to run those punts back.
On the exchange of kicks, the Lions have had the advantage, and they've got the Tiger Cats on their 28. Hamilton 1st and 10. Filoni to Bethia. Gets to the 32, 33-yard line. Bissett, number 36. By Bailey, number 38. And number 71, Paul Seal. All involved in the tackle. A change offensively coming in. A gain of 5 yards. 2nd and 5. On the Tiger Cat 33. Al Patterson is coming out. And Zeno Karge has gone in as an offensive end. On the left side. A quick kick. There's nobody there. Steve Schaefer goes back to get it. It goes to Beaumont. And he is tackled on the 28-yard line by Karge. A 47-yard quick kick by Filoni, and that was the play. Obviously coming in from the bench.
from Ralph Cezio. Ten minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the first quarter of this Grey Cup game, and there is no score. Gossage, Mosca, Barrow, Cepitelli, Newman. Defensively for Hamilton, the corners, Gino Cars, number 73, Joe Canavino, number 19. The center linebackers, number 23, Kuntz. First down from their 29, BC. Camp is dropped on the 22. John Barrow leading the tacklers in there. Mosca, number 68, is also in on the scene. And Gene Gossage, the left defensive end, number 63 there. So there'll be a loss on the play of approximately 7 or 8 yards back to the 22-yard line, and it'll be 2nd and 18. Changes coming up on the BC Lions offensive team as Bill Lassiter has come into the ball game.
Ron Morris went out, Brad. He's favoring his right leg. That would be a crippling loss to the Lions if Morris is rendered useless.
Homer flanks left. The ends are inside. Willie goes into motion. Willie Fleming, that is, number 15. To Lassiter, and it's incomplete. Covering was Joe Canavino, number 19. Number 34, Bill Lassiter, second year with the Lions. He didn't see too much activity last year, or for that matter this year either. The kicking unit is coming in, and Tommy Grant, number 18 for Hamilton, and number 22, Don Southern, are back on about their own 40-45-yard line to receive the kick. It'll be Neil Beaumont, number 27, back on his own 9. There's a loose ball fallen on by Gene Cepitelli. There was a live ball. He got down to the 6-yard line before Beaumont, who bobbled the snap, finally came around, and apparently there was an injury on the field. And the Tiger Cats have it on the Lions' 6-yard line. Bobby Kuntz.
Frank, is there anything strategically in the fact that the Hamilton Ticats on both occasions, at least the 3 occasions that BC had kicked to them, Grant and Southern have exchanged their positions on each team?
Yes, they're working some cross charges along that line of scrimmage, hoping to break somebody open. Of course, that wasn't the reason there because of the fumbled punt, but it just shows that they're trying everything possible to get in there and block a punt. On a day like this, it is one of the biggest breaks that they could have.
Bobby Kuntz is all right and came out. It's first down from the Lions' 12. Hamilton in possession. Filoni gets to the 3 before he was stopped by Paul Seal on the play, number 71. Bernie Filoni, number 10. They spot it on the 5-yard line. It'll be second down. An 8-yard run by Filoni.
One thing for our Western viewers who haven't seen Hamilton play this much, Bernie Filoni will always, when he starts off from under the center with the ball, will always turn opposite to the, or as a general rule, he will turn opposite to the way the play is run. And when he decides to keep that ball, he puts under his arm and really goes.
Art Baker is held at about the line of scrimmage. He may have picked up a yard or 2 on the play. Tom Brown, number 69, coming across, along with Norm Fieldgate, number 75. Bissick, 36, and Beaumont, 27. It'll be third down. It's on the 3-yard line. The first big break in the ballgame for Hamilton on a bobbled third down punt. Bobby Kuntz is coming in. Bethia is coming out. And apparently it's close enough for a measure. The line of scrimmage was on the BC 12.5 when the first down situation arose. And possibly they might have a first down from the BC Lions 3. It's short. It's third down from the 3. They need about a yard for the first down.
I think that was just a shrewd maneuver on the old pro Filoni's part, Brad, to sort of take up a little time and allow a few messages coming back and forth from the bench, as you can see.
John Barrow's gone in offensively with a play from the bench. Hardeman Curtin has come out. No score in this ball game. Just got underway. Baker tries to hurdle it. He may have picked it up. Tom Brown, Dick Fouts, number 70. They did not get it. The Lions will take over. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Enjoy the bright-tasting Labatt's Ale.
Keep crisp and cool at surface. We'll take 5 to 50 ale.
They're taking a measure just in case, and it's a certainty. They failed to pick up the first down by about 2 feet. So the Lions will scrimmage the ball from their own 3-yard line. First down.
You know, this game might develop into a real tough defensive battle, which is opposite to a lot of the experts' thinking. We've now played about 7.5 minutes, and there has not been one first down made because both of those big, tough, skilled defensive lines are doing an outstanding job.
Burton splits left. Homer, number 21, flanks to the right out of your picture. Cap, number 22. He jumped right over Garney Henley, who was coming in. Canavino and Kuntz finally got to Joe Cap, who worked the ball out to the BC Lions 8-yard line for a gain of about 5 on the play. 2nd and 5. Ian Hageman, number 42, out over the ball. It's a halfback draw to Fleming. He's caught up. Kuntz got an arm on him on about the 12-yard line. They'll be short. Canavino was the one who finally stopped him. Kuntz made the initial contact with Willie Fleming, number 15.
In obvious passing situations, when Hamilton does a real good job of rushing the passer or shooting the inside linebackers, well, that's the type of play that you can look for. Willie Fleming has been quite effective this past year in those type of plays, and also Nub Beamer.
They're short about 2 feet. It'll be third down. And the ball is on the BC 13-yard line. They're going to run it. They need about 1.5 feet. Zeno Cars looked around just in case there's something going on that he didn't know about. Cap tries to pick it up himself. Gets to about the 14. The officials will check it. It's a first down. Frank, talk about a calculated risk.
Man, that's playing it pretty close, believe me. If they hadn't have made that, I saw Winnipeg this past year on their 1-yard line try to take 3 cracks at that big, tough Hamilton line, and they ended up after the third down 6 inches less than they started.
First down from their own 15-yard line. Burton the split end right. They give us to Nub Beamer, the fullback, 35. He's held at the 15. Garney Henley, number 26, and John Barrow, 61. Involved in the tackle, along with number 74, Pete Newman. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8 from the BC 16. Ron Morris is on the bench, and Lassiter, number 34, is in the offensive backfield. 2nd down from the BC 16. It's complete to Burton, tackled by Southern up on the BC 27, and it'll be a first down. An 11-yard pass play. Joe Cap, the number 76, Mac Burton from San Jose State.
These two clubs are playing a real game of chess out there. That was the first time that Hamilton had gone into a 5-man line, and they caught the spot that was open.
Homer flanks out of your picture to the right. Willie in motion to the short side. Give us to Lassiter. It gets up to about the 30-yard line. Angelo Mosca, number 68. Also Stepatelli, number 44. Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6 on the BC 31. 4 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Burton is the split end on the short side. Pat Claridge, 78, the right offensive end, in tight. Almost intercepted by Kuntz. It was directly over the center of the line intended for Claridge. And Bobby Kuntz just about pulled it down. He knocked it down. It'll be 3rd down. Tommy Grant and Don Sutherland are going back to receive the punt. Frank?
You can sure tell both these clubs are mentally prepared for this game. Once again, John Barrow is shooting from the inside linebacker slot. Cap caught the spot open. Without a great play from Kuntz, why it would have been completed.
Beaumont back on a 16. And over-ender coming to Sutherland on the 41. A nice run back to the 52-yard line, a 38-yard punt, and a return of close to 12 yards. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver. Hamilton first down from their 52. Bethia in motion. Grant flanks left. It's complete to Grant. He is tackled on the 42 by Tom Brown. And it'll be a first down. A gain of 16 yards on the play, which moves the ball to the BC Lions 41.
Another little mannerism that Bernie Filoni has on his rollout passes. He will start rolling out if he's going to run all the way around. Then he'll stop. He seems to have set a pattern in this. On the other hand, when he does swing out and rolls completely out, you'll see that ball tucked under his arm. And when you see that, look for him to keep that ball and look for some fine blocks by his line going downfield.
Gino DeNoble is in for Mosca, left tackle. First down. Filoni possibly lost a yard on the play or failed to gain any yardage at all. By Bailey, number 38, got to him. Number 36 is Visick. The BC Lions in the dark jerseys, and there's Filoni, number 10. Hamilton Tiger Cats with their white sweaters, their gold pants, black socks. The Lions with their white pants, black sweaters. Lions colors, burnt orange and ebony black. Hamilton Tiger Cats, white, black, and gold. A loss of half a yard. Back to the 41.5 BC. Second down and 10.5 yards. Incomplete to Hal Patterson. Steve Schaefer was protecting or defending on him on about the 30-yard line BC. So it'll be third down. Flight Lieutenant Ray Boucher, the referee. Now Steve Schaefer trots back, number 26, along with Neil Beaumont, 27. It'll be Zuger kicking right from midfield. Beaumont on the 3. And he is tackled by Joe Pecula, right just about on the 3-yard line on the far side of the field. Let's take a look at our scoreboard right now. No score, about 2 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. That was a 37-yard punt by Zuger.
Taking a look at that scoreboard shows you just how tough things are. BC's made 2 first down, Hamilton's made none. And I think both these clubs have sort of got a grudge going on there from an earlier game this season.
First down from their 4-yard line is where it's marked now. A counter play to Fleming. He gets up to the 10-yard line. Mosca got to him, and Kuntz. And John Barrow, number 61. Mosca, number 68. 63 is Gene Gossage, the left defensive end. Ron Morris apparently is being taken to the dressing room of the BC Lions, and Bill Lassiter is going to have a full-time job here for this first half anyway as the number 2 back. He wears number 34. Gain of 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Cap looking for the lob for Burton, and he can't get it. Up on the 45. It'll be 3rd down. Sugar and Golston both defending on number 76, Mac Burton, who picked up a torn Achilles tendon last year, halfway through the season. One of the surest pass receivers in the Western Conference last year. Used sparingly this season, but nevertheless has been retained by Coach Dave Scrime. Grant and Southern are back to receive the punt. Beaumont will kick it from behind his own goal line, about 4 or 5 yards deep. It drives Southern back to his 50. Lassiter misses him. He gets away from Carter, and he's finally tackled on the 49-yard line. Lonnie Dennis, number 61, an all-star tackle in the Western Conference, that put his punt at 50 yards. And an 11-yard return by Southern, a very fine effort. The ball is marked on the BC Lions' 50-yard line. It'll be 1st down Hamilton with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Sophia is in motion. Grant the flanker. It's downfield for Grant, and he dropped it. Steve Schaefer, 26, defending on Tommy Grant, who had it, and he couldn't hang on to it. 2nd down and 10 from the BC Lions 50. Frank?
Almost long passes like that, with Hamilton being to your right on the screen. Those receivers are looking directly into the sun going downfield, and on long passes like that, I imagine it's pretty difficult to see where that ball is.
The 1 minute flag is up. The clock reads 42 seconds. To Patterson, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down. The wind, whatever wind there is blowing almost across field now. It started coming out of the north, possibly still is, but more west than north, about 5 miles per hour. The clock reads 35 seconds in this first quarter of play, and there's no score. Schaefer and Beaumont of the Lions back to receive the punt. It'll be Zuger kicking from his 47. Coming to Schaefer. He backs up on the 23-yard line, and Ken Kilray, number 50, and Kuntz brought him down. A 25-yard kick by Joe Zuger. Now, with 52 seconds left in the quarter, let's have another look at our scoreboard. A scoreless tie in the first quarter with 15 seconds on the clock. First down from the BC Lions, 24. There's a marker on the play as Cap gets the pursuit on him by Canavino. And Pete Newman, who dumped him back on the 10-yard line. Offside being called against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and 1st down over again, 1st and 5.
I think Bobby Kuntz sort of anticipated the snap just about one step too soon and did definitely get across the line of scrimmage, resulting in an offside penalty. And on that particular play, again, Hamilton was expecting a pass, and they were 100% right, because not only did they shoot their inside linebackers, but their corner linebackers as well, because as you saw, Canavino was right there on Cap when he threw the ball.
It's on the BC 29. 1st and 5 to go. Kuntz is stunting to give us to Beamer, or the fake, rather, is to Beamer. The ball carrier is Joe Cap. The first quarter is ended. Let's get the indication. It's the 1st down for the Lions. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Give yourself a break. Take 5 and life's a dream. Give yourself a break, just living as you please. Give yourself a break, let happy times prevail. Enjoy yourself, take 5 for 50 ale.
If you enjoy ale, why not try the bright-tasting Labatt's Ale that brings you this program? Look for the big 50 on the label.
Ron Morris has come back into the offensive backfield for the BC Lions. It'll be a first down as we get the second quarter underway from the Lions 37. Number 18, Ron Morris, the two-back. In the first quarter, Hamilton had 1 first down, the Lions 3. Rushing, Hamilton 15 yards, BC Lions 19. Passing, Hamilton 1 for 5 for 16-yard gain, BC 3 for 7 for 27 yards. The ball is on the Lions 37-yard line. There was a fumble in that last play at the end of the first quarter. Beamer fumbled the ball. Cap picked it up and picked up the first down. Claridge completing the Cap pass to the 50-yard line. BC, 13-yard gain on the play. Number 78, Pat Claridge, tackled by Joe Canavino, number 19 for Hamilton. It's on the BC 51.
One of Pat Claridge's most effective areas of catching passes is one just very typical of that one you just been seeing. He goes down about 12 yards in that middle, and Camp uses him an awful lot whenever he needs a real key first down. And of course, that was a real important one because it gets them in a position where they can really open up now.
First down from their own 51. Morris flanks out left at the bottom of your screen. Incomplete. Being covered on the play by Southern, number 22, Ron Morris. 2nd and 10. He seemed to lose his footing as he ran his pass pattern down there, and there are parts of the field that are quite slippery as a result of the weather up until Wednesday of this Grey Cup week. And then the sun came out in full force and has been out ever since Wednesday morning. Angelo Mosca is making a considerable amount of contact with Joe Cap on the rush. He is the outstanding lineman in Eastern Canada and runner-up to the outstanding lineman in the country to Tom Brown. And Bobby Kuntz got the Cap that time as he was trying to spread the defense. It was intended for Morris and it went incomplete. It'll be third down. We're playing in the second quarter, and there's no score in this ballgame.
One thing that might be interesting is we probably have the 2 biggest teams in Canadian football out here this afternoon. And if there's anything that resembles the weight of the NFL clubs, these 2 clubs are, because Hamilton's defensive line averages 243 yards against BC's offensive line of 233, and they're about the same in reverse.
Grant and Southern are back to receive the punt. Neil Beaumont from his 37-yard line. And then it's Southern on his 21. He dropped the ball and picked it up again. Ronnie Dennis, number 61, the right offensive tackle, downfield very quickly. And Hamilton take over on about their own 27. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Give yourself a break with Canada's coolest number.
Eastern Canada and runner-up to the outstanding lineman in the country to Tom Brown. And Bobby Kuntz got the Cap that time as he was trying to spread the defense. It was intended for Morris and it went incomplete. It'll be third down. We're playing in the second quarter and there's no score in this ballgame.
One thing that might be interesting is we probably have the 2 biggest teams in Canadian football out here this afternoon. And if there's anything that resembles the weight of the NFL clubs, these 2 clubs are, because Hamilton's defensive line averages 243 yards against BC's offensive line of 233, and they're about the same in reverse.
Grant and Southern are back to receive the punt. Neil Beaumont from his 37-yard line. And then to Southern on his 21. He dropped the ball and picked it up again. Ronnie Dennis, number 61, the right offensive tackle, downfield very quickly. And Hamilton take over on about their own 27. The telecast of Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver. Give yourself a break with Canada's coolest number.
Keep crisp and cool at Circus Room. Relax. Take 5.
Grant flanks out, first down for Hamilton. Maloney, number 10. It's complete to Grant. Up to the Hamilton 44-yard line with Beaumont, the safety man, and Bill Muncie, left defensive half, a 22-yard gain. Bernie Filoni to number 18, Tom Grant. Grant is a Canadian boy. He's 200-pounder, 5'11", 28 years old, and he's from Windsor, Ontario. Bethea is the right flanker, Grant to the left. Baker is set back with pace. They give us to Baker. He gets shunted out of bounds on the BC Lions 44-yard line by Steve Schaefer, number 26. Art Baker, number 25. A 20-yard gain on the play, and it's a first down. Hamilton on the Lions' 45-yard line.
Tom Grant's not only showing his ability as a good pass receiver, but he made a real nice block out there on Paul Steele, that corner linebacker, swinging Baker around for extra yardage.
Again, Grant flanks right. Now Bethea moves to give us the pace. Who's held for little or no on about the 44. He may have gained a yard. Tom Brown and Mike Kasich and Norm Fieldgate for the Lions. Stewart?
Thank you. Expect to see more passing if this scoreless stalemate continues.
You got a bunch of giants out there just knocking each other's brains out along that line of scrimmage, and if they can continue this, which I think they will, if either club is going to score without a break, they are going to have to go to the air.
Mark it a gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. That's complete to Grant on the left side on the 31-yard line for a first down. Hamilton. And on the stop was by Bailey, number 38, a 14-yard gain on the pass. Filoni to Grant. And the Tiger Cats in the second quarter are knocking on the door. There's 11 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the first half. Grant flanks on the short side. It's a reverse to Bethea, who gets to the 29-yard line. Barney Therian, number 50 of the BC Lions front four, in on the stop, along with Steele, Bissick, and Mike Martin, number 64. He gained about 1.5 yards on the play, second down, from the 28-yard line. Hamilton in possession, getting field position. It's complete to Patterson on the 18. Schaefer, number 26, got to him. A 10-yard gain on the play, and it'll be another first down.
If Filoni can get those hook passes, such as that one, to working to Hal Patterson, and maybe 2 or 3 in a row, you can look for him maybe to try the same thing, only go to a man going deep for that long bomb.
It's on the BC Lions 18-yard line. First down, Hamilton. Pace gets all the way down to the 11-yard line, and that's where the play is good. And Muncie made contact with him up on the 18-yard line. Pace's momentum and drive carry them to the 11 for a gain of 7 yards. 2nd and 3. The ball is just a few yards in from the west hash mark. Empire Stadium runs north and south. Baker Gets to the 8. They're working the ball toward the goalpost more and more. This might be close enough for a measure. It is going to be measured, and Angelo Mosca thunders out onto the field. He is not seeing as much action as he has all year. DeNoble is coming out. Third down and about inches. Check that. It's a first down and goal to go from the 8-yard line. The ball almost straight away from the post as Grant takes up his position on the left flank. Baker down to the 4. Mike Cassick, number 67, made the stop on him. Tom Brown as well. Gain of 5 yards by Baker. Moves the ball down to the 3.5-yard line, 4-yard line. Second down, Hamilton. We're playing in the second quarter. There's no score in this ball game. It's a touchdown to Bethia. Number 16, and Bernie Poloni. On the strength of passing, particularly to Grant, worked the ball down and ultimately passing to Bethia, number 16, Willie Bethia, from New Jersey, played in a small league in the United States. He's 24 years old, played with Patterson, New Jersey Miners last year in the Atlantic Coast. Southern going for the convert attempt from, it'll be about 17-yard line. Poloni holding. It's good. The Hamilton Tiger Cats go in front by a score of 7-0. As we take a look at our scoreboard, 9 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in this first half of play. Frank?
Just might mention that one reason Bethia got open on that particular play, Art Baker made a tremendous fake-off tackle, and he kept that linebacker in. There was a man going downfield, so the halfback had to go with him, and Willie Bethia was out there all by himself for that first big score, which could be a mighty important one as this game goes along.
Willie Fleming, number 15, directly under the goalpost. Ronnie Morris, number 18, and Steve Schaefer to the left, number 26. It'll be Southern, number 22, doing the kicking. It's low and wobbly, coming down to Ronnie Morris on his 9. And a nice tackle on the play by number 15, Steve Hamill, on the 19-yard line. And BC will take over again. They are trailing in this Grey Cup game 7-0. Ian Hageman, number 42. The offensive center, the guards, 54, Tom Hinton, 58, Steve Cotter. The tackles on the right side, number 61, Lonnie Dennis. On the left, 68, Bill Frank. 76, Mac Burton, 78, Claridge. Homer on the flank. The pitch is to Fleming. And he is dropped possibly for a loss on the play. Mosca, 68, barreling in along with Barrow. Number 63, Gene Gossage. There'll be a loss on the play of about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11.
Ralph Golston, number 21 of the Ticats, did an excellent job coming up from the outside then, forced Fleming back to the inside, and then, of course, you saw all those light shirts getting a lot of pursuit, resulting in no gain.
Second down, mark at about 10.5 to go from the Lions' 23. Surprise, and it is a first down on the 38-yard line. Johnny Henley bringing him down, number 26, a gain of 13 yards on the play.
Didn't realize Cap threw that hard, Brad. He just flat knocked Clary's down with that ball, it looked like.
Well, apparently Cap has been bulleting the ball all season, and his receivers have had problems holding it. He's been throwing a much softer pass throughout the latter part of the year.
Of course, those passes over the middle have got to be thrown real hard and fast, or you will get intercepted.
First down from their own 38-yard line. BC in possession. Sonny Homer on the sideline on the 47-yard line for a gain of about 8 yards on the play. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
After work begin to perk. Take 5.
Gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the Lions' 46-yard line. Homer was forced out of bounds on that last play by Ralph Golston, defending on the left side. Henley, Golston, Zuger, and Sutherland, the defensive backs for the Tiger Cats. Homer, number 21 at the bottom of your screen, flanks out. The rest of the backfield is set back. Beamer picking up the first down. Jones is under the bodies there in the tackle, number 23. There's not Beamer, number 35. Picked up 4 yards, enough for the first. To the BC 50.
That field, Frank, standing up remarkably well outside of the odd slippery spot.
Yes, I was just remarking on that, or thinking about it anyway, a few minutes ago, how well it looks as though it's not being chewed up yet.
Morris is in the slot. Homer flanks out. Cap stumbling around, pitches to Willie Fleming. Fleming gets almost to midfield, and Cipatelli got to him. Number 44. Fleming, number 15, seemed to be shaken up on the play. As a matter of fact, he's almost out on his feet there, walking around in a bit of a fog. And the BC Lions trainer, Roy Cavill, is coming across now.
It also appears that number 9, Joe Zuger, wrenched his knees here on the sideline because he immediately came right off, and they're giving him some attention on the sideline. And the way he's shaking his head, it looks like he's in a fair amount of pain right now. Let's hope he can shake it off.
The gain on the play amounted to about 5.5 yards to the midfield stripe. Fleming is being assisted off the field. He's still all wobbly-legged there. Boy, he really got clobbered. He's had an injury-free year for many of his years up playing with the BC Lions. And there's Zuger, number 9. Bill Lassiter, number 34, has replaced Fleming as the number 4 back for the right half. Fleming sort of jogging off the field. There's Joe Zuger. Dave Skrine and Jim Champion, the coaching staff. Dave Skrine, the coach of the year in the CFL. Announced last night at the Grey Cup dinner. 2nd and about 4.5. We're a half a yard on the Tiger Cats side of midfield. Beamer straight ahead. Right over Tom Hibb. There's a loose ball. He is up close to a first down. Let's see what happens. It is a first.
The Hamilton Tiger Cat defense has placed a great deal of responsibility on number 61, John Barrow. They've from the defensive tackle to defensive tackle, there's about a 4.5-yard gap in there, and John's doing a good job in filling it. And it seems that is the only place where both clubs have been able to be effective in runs is right up the middle.
First down from the Tiger Cat 49. John Barrow got the cap. There's a marker on the play. Rough play. And Billy Bell, the official on the far side from Toronto. Ralph Golston was the last man on. It was a gain of 9 yards. And a 15-yard penalty from the point of the infraction takes it down to the Tiger Cat 25. There's the signal from Flight Lieutenant Ray Boucher.
Brad, the whole BC Lions bench was nearly in on the finish of that play, led by Jim Champion. They were highly incensed at that particular play, and that bench just emptied. Willie's getting the ice treatment and the well-known swelling sauce.
First down from the Hamilton 25. 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Cap looks, there's nobody open. He's grabbed, and it goes in incomplete. He was trying to get it to Homer. Cepatelli putting a charge on him. And Mosca. So it goes in as a second down. And 10 from the Tiger Cat 25. Hamilton 7, the BC Lions no score. 5 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Willie Fleming on the bench, getting a chance to clear those cobwebs. Homer flanks out of your picture. Second down and 10. Beamer off the left side. Stopped on the play by Barrow and Newman. And they'll be short. Gain of about 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 7 from the 22. The telecast of this game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats comes to you from Vancouver.
Great game. Now relax with Canada's most refreshing number. Take 5 and enjoy yourself.
Give yourself a break. Give yourself a break.
Take 5 for 58.
It's food for you
And people on the go. By John Labatt, remember that.
the sponsor of this show.
The field goal kicking team has come out onto the field for the Lions. Number 30. There's the warning whistle, the 5-minute warning whistle. Peter Kemp established a CFL record in field goals, making good 22. Number 11, Peter Oler will hold. It will come from the Hamilton Tiger Cats 29-yard line, just about straight away. And it is good. So with 4 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the second quarter of play, the score, Hamilton 7, British Columbia Lions 3. As we take a look at the scoreboard, Hamilton scrimmage from their 35. Mixa out over the ball. Grant flanks left. Bethia in motion. Now everybody moves. It's a completed pass up to the Hamilton 46-yard line. The receiver was Grant. The tackler was Tom Brown. It's a first down. A gain of 12 yards. Zenobel is coming back out onto the field to spell Mosca. It's on the Hamilton 47-yard line. First down, Hamilton. To give us the pace, he is grabbed by the jersey. Ferrier, number 50, in on the stop, along with Fieldgate. And Mike Kasich, I believe it was Dick Fouts who grabbed a hold of his jersey. Fouts is an all-star defensive end in the Western Conference. A gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 on the Tiger Cat 48.
Now, speaking of all-stars quickly, Brad, the BC club has 8 men, and the Tiger Cats have 7 all-stars out there today.
Second down. Everybody moves in the offensive backfield. Intercepted by Beaumont. Grabbed on the 35-yard line by Grant. Mike Kasich, number 67, a defensive tackle for the Lions, put a pretty good rush on Poloni, possibly causing the pass to sort of hang up there. It wasn't far enough or hard enough. Beaumont got in front of the receiver, Grant, and intercepted the ball on the BC Lions 35.
With Bernie Filoni hitting those hook passes, you could expect him to try to go for that real long one. And, of course, he did on that particular play, but with a fierce rush by the BC line and top defensive playing, why it resulted in an interception. Bill Lassiter is still in the backfield. Willie Fleming is on the bench. Complete to Homer. Up to the 49-yard line. There on the stop was Joe Canavino. They're calling it back to the line of scrimmage.
Tough play against the Lions. A little elbow went astray, right?
A holding penalty against the Lions, 10 yards. Back to their 25, and it'll be first down and 20. Grant McKee made his appearance on the field for one play and has come off again. Zuger is back in the ball game. The ball is on the Lions' 25. 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Hamilton 7, BC 3. It's intended for Morris. It's short. Canavino was there. Zuger and Henley were all around Ronnie Morris. It'll be second down. That pass went about 35 yards in the air. And the BC Lions offense has in part been geared around Willie Fleming.
I think the defensive secondary of both of these outstanding clubs this afternoon are just showing everyone how hard it is to throw long, and if anybody gets any touchdowns today, it looks like they're really going to have to work for them on sustained marches.
Ken Kilray was in there for a bit. He's come out, and Pete Newman has gone back in again. 2nd and 20 from their 25, BC. Camp lateral to Burton, who tried to pass it, and it has to be an incompleted pass. As Barrow, an illegally thrown pass is the call now. Mosca again putting a rush on Joe Cap. And time is being called on the line of scrimmage is now apparently the 17-yard line, BC.
You can sure tell that Hamilton's defensive strategy today is to do their best to get to Joe Cap as quick as possible. The times that we've seen Joe Cap have the most trouble this year has been the times that the Giant at Winnipeg put tremendous rushes on him, and I think down in Hamilton earlier this season, Hamilton did the same thing, and it's pretty difficult to throw when you're being rushed as hard as Joe Cap is right now.
The ruling is the pass was intentionally grounded. Third down. Grant and Sutherland back to receive the punt, and it'll be Beaumont kicking from his 3. A low snap. Sutherland, losing his footing at about midfield, was pinned on the play by Bill Frank. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Take 5, take 5, take 5.
Johnny Henley has moved into the offensive backfield for Hamilton. It's downfield to Henley, and he's got it. Tackled on the 15-yard line. Neil Beaumont coming across to make the tackle on him, along with Steve Schaefer. A 40-yard pass and run play to Henley, and they'll mark the ball on the BC Lions' 15.5-yard line.
Brad, this is one of Hamilton's key long passes, and watching them closely this year on some films, they try to hook 2 men out and slip Henley out, delay him out, and he gets deep. If he hadn't tripped in, he'd have gone all the way.
It's complete to Patterson, and he's fighting for that goal line, and he is tackled on about the 1. Paul Seal, Norm Fieldgate, in on the stop. It's a first and goal to go. 15 yards from Filoni to Patterson, and it's on the 1-yard line. A minute and 43 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Hamilton leading 7-3. Mixa out over the ball. Bethea and Grant flank left and right. They give us to Baker. He's over for a touchdown. Art Baker. Number 25 out of the Buffalo Bills, Syracuse, New York. A real power runner, 205 pounds, which puts Hamilton ahead 13-3. And the convert attempt is coming up. It'll be Southern, 22, doing the kicking and Filoni holding. It's good. 14-3, Hamilton over the British Columbia Lions as we take a look at our scoreboard. And the clock reads a minute and 23 seconds remaining, and the Tiger Cats will kick off again to the British Columbia Lions. Willie Fleming hasn't made an appearance on the field since he was injured. So Bill Lassiter's taken over his job for the kickoff return. He's standing directly under the goalpost, and Schaefer is there. And Ronnie Morris, number 18, Schaefer, number 26. Southern doing the kicking. The game is apparently being held up for a moment as Ray Boucher comes over to the timekeeper's bench just to check out a last-minute detail. The clock reads a minute 23 seconds, and we'd like to remind you that at halftime, all the goings-on the field. Now Ray Boucher calls Ralph Sazio, the coach of the Tiger Cats, over to the timekeeper's bench.
All right, while we're waiting here for the official to get things straightened up, this particular pass play that Filoni hit Henley with earlier, that long, beautiful 40-yard pass play to set up the touchdown, Hamilton did the same thing this year in a game that I saw against Winnipeg. And what they do is they spread their men out. Well, we'll get back to it in a minute.
Southern on the kickoff. It's straight away and downfield, coming to Morris on the 7. Puts his head down and drives. Tackled by Joe Picula, number 65. On the BC 25-yard line. Willie Fleming remains on the bench.
Peculiar, Frank, is a pretty useful type of Canadian.
Sure is. They mark the ball down on the BC 26-yard line. A minute 17 seconds on the clock. First half, the score, Hamilton 14, BC 3. The pass was intended for Homer. He was tackled by Golston and dropped the ball, so it goes in as an incompleted pass. Homer favoring that knee of his. He's got both cartilage and a ligament problem. Now Peter Kemp is coming in to spell Homer off. Number 30, Peter Kemp, who is the backup flanker. And it's ironic, Frank, when a coach goes with his first-string club all year and you get into the one big game and one of his key men is out for at least a quarter anyway.
Well, there's no doubt that when you lose just one man in that backfield, it throws quite a few things off timing.
2nd and 10 from their own 26. It's intended for Kemp, and he can't get it. Third down. Third down coming up, and there are 41 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Golston and Cars defending on Peter Kemp. So the Lions send their punt team in, and Southern, number 22 at the top of your screen, and Tommy Grant, 18 at the bottom, drop back to about their own 43, 44-yard line. Doing the kicking for the Lions will be number 27, Neil Beaumont. He's back on his own 10 or 11. Comes to Southern. And he is caught there by 76, Mac Burton. And number 34, Bill Lassiter. 48-yard punt by Beaumont. And hardly any return by Don Southern, number 22. They spot the ball on the Tiger Cat 40. And Henley is in the backfield for Pace. Pace has come out, and Garney Henley is in. Beatty and Patterson, the offensive end. Grant flanks out. Henley going on a pass pattern downfield. Almost intercepted by Don Visick. It was intended for Grant. Two receivers went downfield. Grant short, and Henley was a little deeper and out toward the sidelines. Second down. Mosca's back in the ball game again. Angelo Mosca's going in along with Jim Pace. DeNoble comes out, and Henley. Tiger Cats leading 14-3. This is the last play of the half. Maloney keeps and grounds the ball. And the gun ends the first half of play with the score: Hamilton Tiger Cats 14, the British Columbia Lions 3. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
After a hard, hot game, relax with Canada's most refreshing number. Take 5 and enjoy yourself.
Give yourself a break. Give yourself a break.
Take 5 for 58. It's brewed for you. And people on the go. By John the Bat, remember that the sponsor.
The score at halftime, the Hamilton Ticats 14, the BC Lions 3. And now a very colorful and exciting halftime show has been prepared. And to bring you a word picture, Don Whitten. Don?
Thanks, Stu. Hi, everybody. Well, this afternoon, the special halftime show that has been prepared for this drawing at Empire Stadium and for television viewers across the country is something of a Canadian holiday. This spectacular halftime show involves some 250 performers, featuring the Canadian Football League Band, which is directed by Dal Richards, the 100-member marching corps of the Vancouver Junior Band, directed by Gordon Olson, the high-stepping Jesters Majorette Corps, Louisa Olson is the instructor, and the Fabulous 50, the cheerleaders, with choreography by Grace McDonald. As I mentioned, the theme of this halftime pageant is Canadian Holiday. The group taking us on a musical journey from coast to coast, enjoying 4 seasons of vacationing in Canada. And our first stop on this musical trip is Eastern Canada, and familiar to people of Quebec in particular, Winter Carnival. Dal Richards and the band sets the mood with Frosty the Snowman. The outline of Frosty the Snowman is formed by the 100-member marching corps of the Vancouver Junior Band. This group wearing the Beefeater costume, and it is identical in almost every detail with the Beefeater uniform that originated in the reign of Henry VII, which is today worn by the famous Beefeaters who guard the Tower of London. Now coming out of the igloos at the north end of the field, and I guess
no carnival, or for that matter, a halftime show, would be complete without pretty girls. Here they are, out of their igloos and high-kicking cheerleaders to enact a winter holiday dance choreographed by Grace McDonald. Everyone, of course, recognizes the tune as the Canadian Football League band belts out Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. These young ladies are all in their early teens. They are part of the Vancouver Junior Band. Probably the most notable accomplishment of this group was at the Seattle Seafarers Parade, where they captured first prize. The Fabulous 50 is the identification of these young ladies. Wearing the white costumes, indicative of course, coming out of the igloos that were stationed at the far end of the field. These same young ladies are the cheerleaders at all BC Lion home games during the regular season. People participating in this halftime pageant have been working towards this goal since the Labor Day weekend. The show is directed and coordinated by Dal Richards. And he has been performing this same function for all halftime entertainment during Lions home games. You might say Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer never had it so good. Bright sunshine here at Empire Stadium. Considerable concern up until Wednesday when the sun finally broke through in Vancouver after 16 days of rain. And in chatting with Dal Richards, he told me that he was most concerned about the condition of the field for his halftime show should it come up wet on this November 30th. However, couldn't be a better day. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and a carnival-type atmosphere as the halftime entertainers, some 250 of them in all, take us on a Canadian holiday. First stop, a winter carnival, which, of course, the Quebecers are famous for. This marks the third time that the CFL band has provided halftime entertainment during the Grey Cup game. The CFL band consists of 55 members. Now we're going to go across the country to the Pacific Coast for a summertime vacation. Out here on the West Coast, the Chamber of Commerce, although they have a little difficulty convincing people during the wet weather, are most proud of the Evergreen Playground. And the Vancouver Junior Band Majorettes remind us of those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer. And as the public address announcer said, tennis anyway. 16 girls comprising the high-stepping Jesters Majorette Corps. The first year the Lions were in the league, the slogan for the football club that year, of course, was "The Lions will roar" in '54. They failed to emit much more than a very faint meow. And that same year, the CFL band was strictly a house band. They didn't really come into prominence until a year later. Before a packed house at Empire Stadium. This is a summertime vacation. From the Winter Carnival in Quebec to the Evergreen Playground of British Columbia. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Give yourself a break, take 5 and light the 3. Give yourself a break, just living as you please. Enjoy yourself, there's lots to do and see. Take 5, enjoy yourself wherever you may be. Give yourself a break, let happy times prevail. Enjoy yourself, take 5 for 50 ale.
If you enjoy ale, why not try the bright-tasting Labatt's Ale that brings you this program? Look for the Big 50 on the label. This half of Canadian professional football has been brought to you by Labatt's Breweries as an invitation to give yourself a break and take 5 for 50 ale, the bright-tasting ale with a big 50 on the label.
We pause now 10 seconds for station identification.
This is the Television Network.
It's climaxed as Del Richards leads the band in the Maple Leaf Forever. The cheerleaders forming the stem of the Maple Leaf, the junior marching band and CFL band, the outline of the Maple Leaf. In the middle, the 9 football dolls and a 17-foot-high replica of the Grey Cup filled with balloons. Halftime show, Del Richards, producer and coordinator, as the balloons are released from the replica of the Grey Cup. The colors of the balloons, of course, representing the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, the orange and yellow balloons floating skyward as the 250 people who participated in this halftime show dispersed. Certainly a beautiful afternoon for both a halftime show and a football game at Empire Stadium. The most gaudy performance, a brilliant spectacle performed by the people in this halftime pageant. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Wherever a wheel turns, an age advances, a nation front row. You'll find industry setting the pace. And BA is geared to industry. From BA Petroleum comes energy to make things happen. BA lubricants to keep things happening. From BA Petroleum, products and petrochemicals to help make new things happen. Yes, wherever things are happening, whenever skills are needed, however tough the challenge, you'll find BA fulfilling its place of continuing leadership, clean across Canada.
Don Whitman back at Empire Stadium in Vancouver, and as we await the return of the players to the field with a rundown of some of the first half statistics, Stu McPherson and Frank Anderson.
Thank you, Don. Well, Frank, you've got roughly 40 seconds to go through the statistical picture, and it's not as one-sided as one might have thought from watching that first half.
No, of course, a couple, that long 40-yard pass followed by a 17-yard pass by Hamilton, and then a couple 18 yards to Morris made the big difference in the passing area. Hamilton had 132 yards to BC 62 yards in passing. Moving back to first downs, Hamilton had 11 first downs to BC's 8. Yards rushing, Hamilton 59, BC 39. Passes completed, 8 for 14 for Hamilton and 6 for 16 for BC. There was one interception by Vancouver, and there was one fumble. They recovered it. The punting hasn't been too good today. The average punt by Hamilton, 38 yards for BC, 37.6 in the first half. Those are the important stats, Stuart.
Thank you, Frank. The score, 14-3 in favor of the Hamilton Ticats as we get ready to start the third quarter in today's Grey Cup game here in perfect conditions at Vancouver. The Ticats, both officials, are out on the center strip, the 50-yard line, talking to Joe Kapp and Bernie Poloni, the respective quarterbacks. And we'll be underway in just a moment with the third quarter of today's game. 14-3 in favor of Hamilton. Brad?
I noticed glancing across the field that Willie Fleming is not returned with the rest of his squad. Mac Burton is now wearing number 28, and he will be lining up as a flanker back, and there'll be a change at offensive end. In all likelihood, Jerry James, wearing number 77, will be an offensive end along with Pat Claridge.
Well, this is the first time since Willie joined the lines, is it not, Brad, that he's been out of the lineup? I can't remember him missing any games before.
He might have missed a game, I believe, last year. He had an infected big toe, and I think in all his career up in British Columbia, this is his fifth season now. I believe that's about the most serious injury he's had. We have no way at the moment of finding out getting any reports from the BC Lions dressing room. Nevertheless, we're ready to go with this second half of play. It'll be Peter Kemp kicking. Tommy Grant is deep, along with Willie Bethea, number 16. Gets away from Bethea and goes deep. Behind the line. And he runs it out to the 12-yard line. A nice return by Bethea. Peter Kemp on the stop, and Walt Balicki. Greg Findlay also in there. And Don Bessick. The Tiger Cats will scrimmage from their 12-yard line. Mosca is back in again as the left tackle. On that side, Hardeman Curett, number 51. The right offensive guard for Hamilton is Ellison Kelly, 54. And the right tackle, Bronco Nagurski, number 60. 259-pounder. First down, Hamilton. The give us to Bethea. He is ridden out of bounds by Beaumont on the 42 as Pace, Frank, came up with a very nice block on By Bailey and blocked him right out of the play.
He sure did. And Ellison, Kelly, and Hart and Puritan got out in front of that play and cut off some inside linemen chasing, and it was a real fine offensive play, clean blocking and real good running.
28 yards is the gain. The ball is now moved up to the Hamilton 40. Where it's a first down as Grant flanks out on the short side. Bethea on the right. He bumped into Baker. Filoni had a key tackle by Fouts on the line of scrimmage. There'll be no gain on the play. Number 70, Dick Fouts. As Filoni bumped Baker. Baker running through his pattern. Illegal interference being called against the Tiger Cats. 10-yard penalty back to the 30-yard line area. And it'll be first down over again and 20 to go. The referee in this ball game, Flight Lieutenant Ray Boucher, the man you're seeing right there, from Ottawa. The umpires, Bill Nairn from Winnipeg, Seymour Wilson from Hamilton, Al Dryberg from Winnipeg. The headlinesman is Tom Cheney of Calgary. And the field judge, Billy Dell from Toronto. Back on the Tiger Cat 30, it's first down over again and 20 yards to go. Complete to Bethea, tackled by Muncie, back on the original line of scrimmage, the Tiger Cat 40, where it will be second and 10. Actually, they moved the ball back to the 39, so it'll be second and about 10 and a half. Again, Fouts made a lunge at Filoni, putting a rush on him. Fouts is the left defensive end. Mike Martin, number 64, on the right side of the BC Lions defensive line. Second down. It's deep for Patterson. He's got it. Schaefer misses him, and he is over for a touchdown. 70 yards. Filoni to Patterson. Hal Patterson, one of the great all-time ends in the Canadian game. Frank?
Well, Mr. Wonderful sure looks wonderful there, Brad, but just like to comment on that tremendous pass protection that Bernie Filoni received on that play. Those 5 or 6 men up front did a tremendous job. BC only rushed 4 men, but to throw one that long, you've got to have the time, and I bet you Bernie's patting those offensive linemen right now.
Southern goes for the point after. Filoni holds. The score is 20-3. It's good. Let's have a look at that scoreboard right now. With 13 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Hamilton 21, BC Lions 3. And the Tiger Cats will kick to the Lions. Hal Patterson came up here. He's been up here for 13 seasons right now. All-Canadian, Eastern All-Star for many years. While with Montreal for many years with Sam Etcheverry. Bill Lassiter, number 34, the deep man, along with Steve Schaefer, 26. And on the right side, Ron Morris, number 18. Southern to kick off, 21-3. Hamilton leading. The long one coming to Lassiter. Up to the 35-yard line. Don Southern in on the stop along with Steve Hamill, number 15. And also on the bottom, number 65, Joe Picula. A 29-yard return on that kickoff by Bill Lassiter. The ball is on the Lions' 36-yard line. We'll pick up the offensive ends as they come out of this huddle. BC making a change. Mac Burton is the flanker. And it's Gary James, number 77, the right end. Claridge, 78, the left end. Connor to Lassiter, and he gets to about the 37 or 38. However, the whistle blew, and he kept on going as Canavino grabbed him. The original stop was made by Pete Newman, number 74. Credit Lassiter with a gain of about 2.5, 3 yards. It'll be second and 7 on the BC Lions 38-yard line. Lassiter flanks right, Burton left. Catch completing to Burton on the 50 for a first down. Zuger in on the stop, and also defending was Henley. A 12-yard gain on the play to the Lions' 50-yard line.
Hamilton, realizing that Joe Camp has got to go to the air now, has moved into a six-man line, and you can look for six men rushing the passer with those two outside linebackers brought up, or sometimes they'll drop out covering sideline cuts with either one or two linebackers shooting from the inside.
Burton flanks out of your picture. Morris now goes in motion. Cap getting a little one away to Morris. Tackled by Henley at midfield. There'll be a gain of close to 5 on the play. Cap was waving Lassiter downfield while the pursuit was on him, namely from Mosca and Gossage. So they credit it with a 5-yard gain. The ball is right on the midfield stripe.
Waving his hand like he was doing there brings back some memories of Indian Jack Jacobs in his heyday, Brad.
And the Big Chief is watching this contest. He's somewhere in this stadium. Close to 37,000 people here. Beamer for 2 or 3. They'll be short. Barrow, Canavino, and Cepatelli all in on the stop. It'll be 3rd and 1.5 yards. The ball is on the Hamilton Tiger Cat 51.5-yard line. And the situation is remaining as it was just on this prior play. They are going to go for it. Burton lines up directly behind Claridge, the offensive end. Now everybody moves. Give us to Beamer. It's a belly fake. The pitch to Lassiter. He's got the first down. He gets to the 43-yard line. Back on the play by Zuger. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
There's nothing like a BA credit card.
Unless it's a BA credit book.
Only BA gives you a choice.
They're such understanding people.
Ball is on the Hamilton Tiger Cat 43.5-yard line. First down, BC in possession. The Lassiter complete. Tackle by Golston. They'll credit him with a gain of 3. As they'll spot the ball on the Tiger Cat 40. Mark the gain 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6. The Lions in possession on the Tiger Cat 40-yard line. We're playing in the 3rd quarter. There's 9 minutes, 52 seconds left. Hamilton 21, the BC Lions 3. So Jerry James complete for a first down. Southern making the tackle. It's on the Hamilton 26-yard line, a 14-yard gain.
It'll be interesting, Brad and Frank, if Jerry James has a good afternoon. You remember in the second game of the Western Final, he had a most miserable evening when he dropped passes for what looked to be 2 touchdowns.
This would be the good time to make up for that. Zeno Cards, the outside linebacker, has moved up into a defensive end position now, and that's why this area over here is open.
First down, strength goes left. It's a fullback draw to Beamer, and he gets to the 23. Kuntz was down there, and Cepatelli, and John Barrow. They credit Beamer with a gain of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7 from the Tiger Cat 23-yard line. And apparently Willie Fleming is out of the ball game. Second down. Intended for Claridge and just about snapped away by Southern. And Frank, if he had caught that one, he would have been gone.
He would have been gone. There's no doubt about it. It was a real great play by Sutherland. Actually, I don't think he really thought he could intercept it. It was a flying leap just to get his hand in front of the ball, blocking it from the intended receiver.
Friends, for a complete line of guaranteed tires and automotive accessories to make your car run better, see Mr. B.A. Third down, and the field goal kicking team has not come on. They're going for the big one. It's on the Tiger Cat 23, 3rd and 7. Burton flanks left. Morris in the slot, number 18. Beamer is set back, along with Lassiter, who now goes into motion. It's a high floater for James, and it's knocked down by Golson on a nice defensive play, and the Tiger Cats will take over the football from their own 23-yard line. 7 minutes, 57 seconds remaining. Let's have another look at that scoreboard. 21-3, Tiger Cats. By Bailey, number 38, defensive half on the right side. Steve Schaefer, Neil Beaumont, the safeties. Bill Muncie, defensively on the left side, halfback for the Lions. Baker picked off at the 26. He ran head-on into Don Visick, number 36. He picked up 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7, up to the Hamilton 26-yard line. Second and 7 from the 26. Art Baker. Bethia flanks right. Grant to the left. Complete to Grant at the 45. Tackle by Fieldgate. It's a first down, Hamilton. Right on the left hash mark. An 18-yard gain. 7 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the third quarter of this 1963 Grey Cup game. Tommy Grant was 8th among the league's pass receivers this season. Easy to see why. He should have been a lot higher. Jim Pace, the ball carrier, and he is grabbed by Dick Fouts as he cut on the right side. Picked up about 3 or 4 yards. Mark it on the Tiger Cat 48-yard line where it'll be second down. The telecast this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver. To the field. So they lost 3 or 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 10 from the Tiger Cat 45. Joe Zuger is in to punt. Number 26, Steve Schaefer. Number 27, Neil Beaumont are back to receive the punt for the Lions. And they're on about their own 25. Zuger on his 32, steps up to the 35. Gets a nice kick away, driving Beaumont back to his 18. A hard downfield tackle. Possibly somebody might have been injured when they made it a 48-yard punt. It looked like Krause, Bobby Krause, number 14, who made a fine tackle on Neil Beaumont. And the Tiger Cat trainers have gone over there, as you see. They stopped the clock. 5 minutes, 44 seconds. In the third quarter. Frank, what's your summation of the game thus far?
Well, it appears as if the Hamilton club has sure come out the second half determined to put that clincher on. To me right now, they seem to be the stronger ball club. That big, tough line of theirs is possibly gradually wearing down the CC club, which is about 10 pounds per man lighter. And they're destined to prove to the BC club it looks as if that win down east this year was no fluke. On the other hand, this BC club, you've got to admire them because their typical play a while ago when Bernie Floney was rushed as fierce as he was. They're not quitting. They're going all out and doing everything they can to come back and still make this a real good contest.
Bobby Cross, as you see, is all right. Willie Fleming made an appearance back out onto the field, but he is wearing his street clothes. He is out of uniform, so he's out for the ball game. First down, Lions from their 22-yard line. Cat looking. It's a floater intended for James. He's got it. And he's brought down by Goldston on the Tiger Cat 46-yard line. Gary James, 6'5", 235 pounds, a 42-yard gain on the play. Number 77, Jerry James. On the Tiger Cat 46, first down. Claridge is the split end left. About 10 yards from Bill Frank, the left tackle. Hamilton are in a six-man line. Newman got the cap, and he had assistance there from Gossage, 63.
Those big four boys on that line of scrimmage with Hamilton, they're really coming in. When you figure four defensive men have got to try and get through 6, maybe 7 men blocking them, they're really showing a lot of desire, and they're doing an outstanding job of rushing cap.
A loss of 12 yards on the play. The ball is back on the BC Lions 52. The original line of scrimmage was on or about the Tiger Cat 46. Second and 22 to go. Incomplete, intended for James. Canavino defending him. Number 19, Hamilton. Third down.
Frank, what's the secret for the tremendous success and longevity of one Pete Newman?
Well, this is what, 13th year? I don't know, desire, money maybe. But he's sure showing that he's without any peers as a defensive end in Canadian football. Playing a top game today.
The Lions are going to run it. They go into a quick kick formation as Morris tried to pull the defense in, which he did, and Southern has to go back, fields it on the 15. And he finally decided to just sit down as Lonnie Dennis is thundering down on him. A 40-yard quick kick by Ronnie Morris. It'll be first down Tiger Cats from their 16, and they're preserving a lead of 18 points. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the Lions and the Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
It's time to see Mr. B.A. and get your car ready for winter.
Do you winterize reindeer, too?
Only at Christmas.
Hamilton out over the ball on the 16, their own 16. Grant flanks out right. Pays the ball carrier. He gets to the 24. Bissick and Schaefer all in on the stop, along with By Bailey. There'll be a gain on the play of about 7.5, 8 yards. It'll be second and 2.5 from the Tiger Cat 23.
Those two guards of Kelly and Sheraton for Hamilton Cats are really now starting to function as good blocking backs. Sheraton made a trap play, and Kelly followed right behind him, leading the play up the field for a good 8-yard gain.
It's up the middle. Stopped on about the 25 or 26-yard line. The ball carrier was Baker, and he did not pick up a first down. It'll be third and a yard.
You could hardly call that a degree of affection that the fans here greet Mafia each time he returns to the bench. They haven't forgiven him for putting finito to Willie Fleming early in the first half.
Well, they say those Tiger Cats, they came to play, you know, and they're really showing it today. They're really hitting hard out there.
The 3-minute warning whistle is sounded. The clock actually reads 2 minutes and 45 seconds in this third quarter of play. Zilber will kick, and Steve Schaefer and Neil Beaumont are back to receive on their 48-yard line. Schaefer. A driving downfield tackle by Steve Hamill, number 15. Just at about where Schaefer caught the ball. A 34-yard punt. They spot it on the Lions' 51.5. And bringing you this portion of Grey Cup is Mr. B.A.'s way of saying thanks for turning into his station. 2 minutes, 27 seconds. We're in the third quarter of play. That's all that remains. The score, Hamilton 21, the BC Lions 3. Mac Burton wearing number 28, flanks out of your picture now. Cap 22. Intercepted by Southern. And Bill Lassiter finally got to him, but they'll mark it as being down on the Tiger Cat 43-yard line. Don Southern coming up with another interception.
Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Fleming, we have a report here that Willie Fleming's in the hospital, but I'm pretty sure that we saw Willie Fleming sitting across the road in his civilian clothes a few moments ago.
Don Southern led the Eastern Conference in pass interceptions of 8 for a return of 95 yards. First down, Tiger Cats. Maloney keeping. Gets to the Lions 54 before he's dropped on the play by Don Visick, number 36. It's a first down. On the BC Lions 53-yard line. The Tiger Cats dominating play in the second and third quarters of this ball game.
You know, after nearly three quarters of play now, the field is really standing up excellently. I think the people who did the work on it deserve an awful lot of credit.
Face the ball carrier, and he gets to the 48-yard line, pinned by Paul Seal. Don Visick, 36. Making the tackle on him along with Tom Brown, number 69. The outstanding lineman in Canada for 1963. Pace picked up 7 yards. There's a 1-minute flag. The clock reads 52 seconds. This is the third quarter we're in. The ball is on the Lions 47, second and 3. Grant flanks right. Give us the pace again. He gets to the 45-yard line and no further. They bring it back. Number 64, Mike Martin, bringing him down. Paul Seal, number 71, also helping out on the stop. So it'll be 3rd and 1 from the 45.
The boys sure wanted to go for that extra yard then. They looked over at Coach Sazio, and he shook his head no. He said, get out there, punt return team. Let's don't take a chance right now.
Beaumont and Schaefer, number 27 is Beaumont, 26 Schaefer, dropping back for the kick. On about their 5- and 6-yard line, and Zuger kicks from his own 53. He'll probably step up to midfield by the time his foot makes contact with the ball. A high one. Schaefer on the goal line, and he's dropped downfield by Steve Hamill, number 15. And that's the end of the third quarter of play. With the score, Hamilton 21, the BC Lions 3. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
How do you judge a gasoline? If it's on the basis of technical claims, be assured that every worthwhile advance known to the petroleum industry is incorporated in VA 88 and 98 gasolines. On the other hand, if you judge gasoline by how well it makes your car run in city traffic, on the highway, in any situation where power and performance count, you're talking VA too, because VA gasolines are clean, 3 separate ways to make your car run better. First, only BA gasolines are final filtered to prevent minute impurities from spoiling your engine's performance. Second, BA gasolines contain a special detergent that cleans your carburetor as you drive. And third, BA gasolines burn clean to minimize harmful engine deposits on valves and pistons. What's the best gasoline for your car? Well, if you look at it from your car's point of view, you can't choose a better gasoline than BA 88 or 98. Clean, 3 separate ways to make your car.
As we get the fourth and final quarter underway, the Lions will scrimmage the ball from their own 2-yard line, following that kick and return by Schaefer. There's Willie Fleming with the light-colored parka on. He's wearing a hat. He's all right, but apparently they don't want to take any chances with him by putting him into this ball game. Mac Burton, the flanker, on the left. Bill Lassiter has taken Fleming's spot as the right half. Beamer, the ball carrier, breaks up to the 10-yard line. Canavino finally brought him down, and Johnny Henley, number 26, Canavino, number 19. Beamer picked up 8.5 yards on the play. It'll be second at about 1.5 yards. The ball just over the 10-yard line, BC. Hamilton's defensive corps doing a very capable job out here this afternoon. Camp looking the situation over. Second and 1.5 yards. He decides to keep. And he's picked it up to the 16. There's a marker on the play. Dino Carge made the original tackle. It's piling on against the Tiger Cats. That'll take it up close to the 30-yard line. On the 32, BC, first down. 14 minutes remaining in this fourth and final quarter. The score is Hamilton 21, the Lions 3. Most of the field is now shadowed. Southeast corner's got a bit of sun on it yet. Burton is the flanker left. Incomplete. As Burton tried to come back, as Camp had a rush put on him, Mosca and Newman fired, particularly Carge, putting a rush on Cap. He tried to roll out of the pocket, but he was blocked and had to get rid of it fast. It went short. Burton came back to try to pick it up. Incomplete. Second down and 10. BC on their own 32 in possession. Hamilton last won a Grey Cup back in 1957. It's intended for Morris, but it's too far. Third down. And in comes the kicking unit. There's Ronnie Morris, number 18. Picked up from Toronto on waivers mid-season.
Brad, it's beginning to look as if that statistical oddity, November the 30th, is a good day for the Ticats. They've played 3 previous Grey Cups and won on each occasion on that same day.
Tommy Grand and Don Southern are back on their 40 to receive the kick. It'll be Neil Beaumont. Southern at the top, Grand at the bottom. Beaumont's on his 17. He gets a nice kick away with Grand on his 35-yard line. Lassiter got to him. Bill Lassiter tackled him on the 40. A 44-yard punt. Little or no return. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Meteor sales are skyrocketing. Because for value, the low-price Meteor makes it big for 64.
12 minutes, 43 seconds remaining in the fourth and final quarter. Maloney gets up to the 42-yard line on a keeper play around the left side. Barney Thurian, number 50 for the Lions, defensive makes the stop. Mike Martin also in there.
Brad, we've got official word now. Willie Fleming has a severe neck injury, but he was determined to see the rest of the game. He's going to be taken to the hospital at the completion of today's game.
A gain of 2 yards by Filoni. It's up to the Tiger Cat 42. Second and 8. Complete to Grant, and it's a first down on the BC Lions 54 by Bailey, getting to Grant and pushing him out of bounds. Number 18, Tom Grant. They spot the ball on the Lions 53.
The passing offense of Hamilton today has sure been something to see also. They're running those pass patterns with real precision, even though the field might slow the receivers down some, but passing's on the mark and the patterns are run well.
Bethea goes in motion. The give is to Baker. He gets down to the BC Lions 43-yard line, very close to a first down on that run. Bailey, number 38, getting him out of bounds. It's close enough for a measure, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The Tiger Cats participated in the Grey Cup game, well, since '57. They defeated the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 1957. They lost to the Bombers 58, 59, 61, and 62. Well, apparently it's not a first down. While we're waiting for them to get the ball back on the field, how about a word from Bill Walker?
Thank you very much, Brad. Sales of Ford of Canada 64 models are at an all-time high. Let me read to you these latest figures just received this morning. Latest figures show that since October 1st, Ford of Canada's passenger car sales are up 40.3%, balance of industry up only 19.6%. And I think those figures speak for themselves. And now, back to Brad.
Thanks, Bill. Filoni kept, and he may have picked up the first down, trying to go right straight into the middle of the line. He just needed about 6 inches. Boucher, the referee, again calls for the yardsticks to come out. The tackle initially was made by Mike Kasich, number 67. Any portion of the ball. And it's a first down. The line of scrimmage is now the BC Lions 42.5. Six officials working the game, 3 from the east, 3 from the west. Nixa comes out over the ball. Tommy Grant flanks on the short side. Bethea on the right side. Pace and Baker are set back. Baker gets to the 39. Dick Fouts, number 70. Along with Kasich, 67 on the stop. Art Baker, number 25. Picked up about 2.5 yards. Line of scrimmage now is just inside the Lions' 39, 40-yard line. 10 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of play. Filoni completing to Vitti, the 27, 28-yard line, and I believe that is the first pass, Frank, that Dave Vitti has caught in this ball game.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, Brad, Coach Strine said something prior to the game. I think we're sort of now seeing it develop. He said the Tiger Cats have the ability to wear an opponent down with hard blocking and tough tackling. And I think that's starting to be the story through the end of this fourth quarter.
Bethea flanks left and Grant right. It's a first down from the Lions' 27. A gain of 12 on that last play. And Dick Fouts and Mike Kasich team up. Kasich bringing Filoni down as he tried to get out of the pocket. His receivers, namely Vitti and Grant, were covered. Bethea on the left side. Filoni tried to run it out. He was cut from behind. They'll lose 2 yards on the play. So the line of scrimmage reverts up to the 29. Johnny Henley is coming in. and pace is leaving the ball game. And Meteor sales are soaring sky high because in popularity, Meteor makes it big for 64. Now Grant and Baker, rather Henley and Baker are set back. Grant flanks. Henley running downfield. Knocked down by Visick on a nice play intended for Grant. Walt Balecki is in as a linebacker, replacing Paul Seal. Balecki wearing number 44. Seal, number 71, the regular right corner linebacker, has had a sore shoulder these past couple of weeks. He's had some painful bruises on it and was doubtful whether or not he'd play. Southern has come into the ball game, and there'll be a field goal attempt from the Lions 37 at a slight angle. 37 yards. Filoni will hold. And it's blocked by Tom Brown. It's a loose ball. Vidi's picked it up. Marker on the play, and there'll be a yardage call there.
What happened, Brad? The play was partially blocked. It hit one of the Hamilton players on the helmet, bounced right up in the air, and then Dave Vidi caught the ball, and of course the penalty result.
The kick initially was blocked by Tom Brown. The loose ball was picked up by Vidi. There was no yardage, was the infraction given by the official on the kick. So there's an automatic 15-yard penalty from the 20-yard line to the 35, where the BC Lions will take over the football. There's 8 minutes, 53 seconds left in the ball game. Let's have another look at that scoreboard. The Hamilton Tiger Cats 21, the BC Lions 3. First down from their own 35. Burton flanks right, Morris to the left. Cap goes into a shotgun formation. To Jerry James, complete. Canavino tackled him. It's a first down and a gain of 16 yards to the Lions' 51.5-yard line. First down. The question is now, will there be enough time for the Lions to generate a sufficient offensive attack to get back into this ball game? They trail by 18 points. Lassiter flanks right, Burton to the left. Cap in the shotgun again. Direct snap to Beamer. He runs into the 48-yard line of the Tiger Cats. It was Golston and Zeno Cars getting to him. They spotted on the Tiger Cat 48-yard line. Close enough for a first down to warrant possibly a measurement. And that's what's going to happen, Frank.
Whenever a club goes into a shotgun formation, believe me, those defensive linemen, they really hate it because they know they've got some 10 and 12-yard sprints to try to get to that passer. And usually you'll see the passer has lots of time, and the defensive secondary will loosen up trying to cover the whole field and also make Joe Cap work for every first down that he gets here to the end of the game.
It's a first down for the Lions from the Tiger Cat 48. Direct snap to Cap. Matt Clyde pulling it down on the Tiger Cat 32. Tackled by Zuger. Another first down. Canavino backing up. A 15-yard gain on the play.
That was one of those picture pass receptions, Brad. Pat Claridge went up in the air about as far as he could reach and just grabbed the ball with his fingertips. A real beautiful pass catch.
It's on the Tiger Cat 32-yard line. Pat Claridge, number 78, the right end. Jerry James, 77 on the left side. It's Beamer again, slanting down to the 26-yard line. Zuger and Golston. Getting to Beamer. Beamer picked up on the play. 6 yards. Now they move it back to a gain of about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. The ball's on the Tiger Cat 27. Just about midway between the hash marks.
Well, as he was pacing up and down there, you think he was on the losing end of the story for him. He's almost worn a hole in front of that bench.
Well, Stuart Ralph has been in about 13 Grey Cup games, one way or another, as a coach and as a player. Half out of bounds on the 18-yard line. Forced out of there by Cepatelli and Canavino. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
It's the most popular compact car in history, the hot new Falcon 464. Try the great new Falcon at your Ford dealers now.
An 8-yard gain by Cap and a first down on the Tiger Cats' 18-yard line. The deepest penetration the Lions have made throughout the course of this ball game. Now they go back into a T formation. Double flankers left. It's a double reverse. Lassiter to Morris, who digs down to the 14. Cars making the stop. Now there's a bit of a rain down there.
Boy, starting to mix it up just a little bit, folks, and sort of to confirm Strine's remark about those Tiger Cats wearing you down physically. Ralph Saggio was quoted as saying that tough football is a Hamilton tradition. We believe in playing the game hard, and believe me, they've sure shown us that today. A real outstanding, tough, well-drilled, organized football team.
2nd and 7 from the Tiger Cat 14-yard line. Intended for Burton, and Henley got in the way of that. There's a marker in the end zone. Pick it up from Ray Boucher. Illegal interference offensively against the Lions. And the BC Lions will have to give up the football. And the Tiger Cats will take over. We'll see where they mark the ball. Joe Cat's still out there talking with Ray Boucher.
Oscar's got to be the Howie Young of the CFL. He can't buy anybody without something in it.
Norm Fieldgate, number 75, and Joe Cap, 22, are the co-captains of the team.
Maybe when you're that big, you can afford to be, eh?
And that's what happened. The Tiger Cats will take over the football on their own 5-yard line. Offensive interference charged against the British Columbia Lions. There are 5 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the ball game. Now Dave Strine talking to Joe Cap as Poloni looks the situation over. Faking well, Poloni pushed out by Steve Schaefer after he ran about 30-odd yards himself, 31. Deked around Bill Muncie, defensive half for the Lions. And Poloni is showing that experience, Frank, is a very valuable thing.
Yes, sir, and I think you find you can't buy it.
The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Follow this hand and follow it into the solid, silent world of a 64 Ford. You'll find it ingenious, luxurious, and thoughtful. Take ingenious. Just swing this wheel to ease you in or out. Luxurious. Ford's new shell-designed bucket seats seat you in deep foam comfort. And underfoot, there's wall-to-wall deep pile carpeting. And look at this supersized console. Storage space for large picnics or even small picnickers. Thoughtful? That's this new crank handle opening the vent window so easily. And lights. This bright one for reading maps. There's one in the ashtray, glove compartment. And as your door opens, you see a mighty important pair, the bright red one warning cars behind you that your door has opened, and the white one showing you where to step. So a 64 Ford is thoughtful and luxurious, and you'd be ingenious to try total performance for a change at your Ford dealers.
5-minute warning whistle is sounded. The clock reads 5 minutes and 7 seconds. There it goes right now. It'll be a first down for the Tiger Cats on their own 37-yard line, as Poloni just about made the longest individual gain of the ball game, 31 yards. First down. Willie Bethea tackled on the 42, the Hamilton 42 by Bailey. Number 38 for a gain on a play of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 on the Tiger Cat 42 and a half.
You know, those big offensive linemen for Hamilton, even though they weigh from tackle to tackle about 240 pounds, have shown that they have tremendous speed. They're really starting to get out there now on those end runs and make some real good blocks and stay in front of that ball carrier.
2nd and 4. Grant is the lone flanker on the short side, possibly a checkoff coming. The give is to Baker, and he is grabbed by Kasich and Tom Brown. There's a marker on the play, and the indication was against the Tiger Cats, the first call. Ray Boucher, offside Hamilton. Declined by the Lions, 3rd down. It leaves them with 3rd and about 3 from their own 44.5-yard line. And the Tiger Cat kicking team comes in. Joe Zuger will do the punting, number 9. And dropping back for the Lions, to the right is Beaumont, and to the left, number 26, is Steve Schaefer. Zuger standing on his own 31. Another high towering kick coming to Schaefer on his 28. A tremendous driving downfield tackle in there by Joe Patilla, number 65, and Steve Hamillo also in there, a 36-yard kick. And the Lions will try it again from their 29. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
The solid, silent Super Torque Ford features total performance. It's the best Ford ever. See it now at your Ford dealers.
First down from their 29, the BC Lions, 3 minutes, 47 seconds remaining. Cap in the spread formation. Direct snap to Beamer. He gets to the 32-33. And the blocking of number 54, Tom Hinton. It was Angelo Mosca, number 68, making the tackle. Cepatelli in there as well. Frank?
I might make a comment on a couple plays before on that punt that Hamilton kicked. This Bob Krause, number 14, and Steve Hamillo, number 15, have been doing an outstanding job today getting down on those punts. They've been getting down there first, and usually when they make contact, the ball receiver has been going to the ground. Very good.
2nd and about 7 from their 32. Direct snap again. Complete to Burton, tackled by Zuger on the Lions 52. The offensive ends have changed for the Lions again as Pat Claridge is getting a rest. And Greg Findlay has come into the ball game. He wears number 79. A 20-yard pass and run completion to Mac Burton gives the Lions a first down on their own 53-yard line. 3 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. And we might remind you that the presentation of the Grey Cup will be made to the winning captain. And there'll be interviews from the dressing room of the winning team. It's to Beamer. Canavino moving up on him, and he gets to him on a nice play. Backed up by Bobby Coots. Also floating over with the play was Kenny Kilray, number 50. Gain on the play of 7. There'll be 2nd and 3 from the Tiger Cat 51. 2 minutes, 33 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Joe Cap calling the play, number 22. Shotgun formation. Gossage got to Cap. He got away from him. Mosca's after Cap. It's complete to Greg Findlay down on the 17-yard line. Ralph Goldston brought him down, a 33-yard completion. 2 minutes remaining in the ball game. They mark it on the Tiger Cat 19. Hal Patterson, rather check that. It's Pete Newman is going in, and Kilray is coming out. More Canadians are buying Meteor because in low price value, Meteor makes it big for 64. On the tie cap, 19. First down. Cap waving the traffic around. It's complete to Finlay on the 5. Dolson defending on him, along with Cars, 14 yards. And this is the first time in the ball game the Lions have been so deep in the Hamilton territory. First and goal from the 5-yard line. 1 minute and 41 seconds remaining in the ball game. The score, Hamilton 21, the BC Lions 3. Bill Lassiter is the flanker right. Burton to the left. Cap straight away in a direct snap. It's a floater for Burton, and he's got it. Touchdown. And he cut it right on the dead ball line, right at the end of the end zone. Don Sutherland was the man defending on it. Mac Burton, number 28. That makes it 21-9, and the convert attempt is coming up. Well, they Peter Kemp, number 30. Doing the kicking, and Peter Oler, number 11, holding. It's good. So, with 1 minute and 16 seconds remaining in this Grey Cup game, the score, Hamilton Tiger Cats 21, British Columbia Lions 10.
You know, Brad, playing in 3 Grey Cup champion teams myself, I know how those Hamilton players feel right now. They've got a minute to go. They've got the game sewed up. They're looking at each other. They're smiling, and they're, I know, pleased with themselves, and rightly they should be, because they have played an outstanding game today, both offensively and defensively.
Sidney Halder with a Grey Cup, the commissioner of football. That was Tommy Grant running that ball back. He was the deep man along with Bethea. Check that, it was John Barrow, the ball carrier, on a short kick, and he ran it up to the Hamilton Tiger Cat 52-yard line. Where it's a first down, Tiger Cats. As the clock resumes running, and it's 1 minute and 6 seconds on the board. 1 minute flag is up. 1 minute of play left. To Jim Pace. And he ran into one of his own men, Puritan, who was a pulling guard on the play. And he was dropped by Fieldgate, and Brown came over there, and Fouts all in on the stop. There'll be a loss of a yard on the play. 2nd and 11 from the Hamilton 51. The presentation of the Grey Cup will be made directly following the conclusion of the ball game. Grant flanks out left. Pace and Baker are set back. Now Bethea goes into motion. To give us the pace, he's grabbed by Therian after he picked up about 3. It'll be 3rd down and 9. 5 seconds remaining in the ball game. The kicking team has come on. The clock has stopped with 5 seconds indicated. The 1 minute flag is still up. Zuger will kick. Beaumont and Schaefer back to receive it. It's a high one. The flag is down, and this is the last play of the game. Schaefer's got it. Dropped on the 21. The ball game is over, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats win the Grey Cup. The final score, Hamilton 21, the British Columbia Lions 10. We'll be back with interviews and presentation ceremonies in just a moment. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
In performance, Meteor makes it big for 64. Come on and take a look. Here's all the comfort and luxury of a big car ride. Because Meteor is built on a long 120-inch wheelbase, it straddles the bumps better and eliminates dip and dive. And for your extra comfort, you enjoy an exclusive suspension that lets wheels move backward and forward as well as up and down. Meteor is an easy handling car, too, because it's built wider. All this extra width means better stability at higher speeds. And you don't have to fight with the car when you're cornering. Choose from 2 V8s or a 6 and prove to yourself that in performance and all the other things that mean extra value in a low-priced car, Meteor makes it big for 64. See your local Mercury dealer. But hurry.
Well, the Hamilton Ticats have won the Grey Cup for 1963, and down in that circle of people on the field, Bernie Poloni and John Barrow, the two co-captains of the Ticats, are accepting the memorable trophy from Mr. Sidney Halter, the commissioner of the Canadian Professional Football League. I don't think that there'll be any doubt that Hamilton made their victory a convincing one. They were tremendous on their defense. They were first down on the ball, as Frank mentioned a couple of times. Their downfield tackling was tremendous. And lots of excitement on the field. Take your choice. Leaving Brad Key to be in charge of disturbances. That was Moscow, as you might have guessed, being greeted by a couple of Hamiltonians. And Angelo is signaling, okay, come on down, which would be suicide, I would imagine, for anybody. But he'd be great in the rain. A hard-fought game, and the Lions certainly weren't helped by the loss of Willie Fleming. And early in the game, Ron Morris, who has played an outstanding role in the success of the Lions in the West, he went on the lift early and was lost to them for almost a quarter. But it was a thoroughly convincing victory for Hamilton and a hard-fought game. Right?
Well, Stuart, I can't help but completely agree with everything you said. The thing that impressed me most in the second half was the way Hamilton took complete charge of the game. They were leading 14-3 going into the end of the first half. They come out in the second half. They hit that long one to Patterson. Poloni was getting excellent protection today. On the other hand, defensively, they were rushing Camp as fierce, I guess, as we've seen all year. And, of course, it only proves that any quarterback is human if he's having to throw over a bunch of big, charging, tough defensive linemen coming in. Hamilton, full marks for the game. BC, their first time in the game, possibly a few jitters hurt them some, but I don't think that the first Grey Cup game jitters would have made any real difference in the final outcome of today's real fine ball game.
So, Brad, that was a pretty good season for the Lions?
Yes, Stuart. As a matter of fact, it was one of the most successful seasons, or the most successful season in the Lions' history since they were into the league in 1954. The odd thing about all of this is the fact that at the outset of Grey Cup week, the odds and the differences of opinion on the thinking of who was going to win this ball game seemed to differ so vastly between East and West. In any event, we'll be back in just a moment. The telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver.
Motor oils were meant to lubricate, and this is still their most important job. But while today's engines are more compact, they are also more powerful. Higher stresses and temperatures demand qualities not asked of ordinary lubricants. Now, a new kind of motor oil is needed that must cool faster, seal tighter, clean better, protect longer against rust, sludge, soot, gummy deposits, water, and damaging acids. Today, this new kind of motor oil is here. New BA Durafilm not only meets every one of those requirements, but far exceeds all car manufacturers' service specifications. No matter what kind of car you drive, whatever the driving conditions, new BA Durafilm motor oil can make your car run better, make it last longer, and cost less to operate and maintain. Start using BA Durafilm. Available now at BA dealers. Clean across Canada.
Well, we're taking odds how long it's going to take these particular inhabitants of Vancouver to take down the goalpost at the north end of Empire Stadium. One word, a credit to the organizers and the police of the event here today. It certainly bears no resemblance to what happened a couple of Grey Cups ago that were staged in Vancouver at the conclusion of the game. It was comparatively mild. The Vancouver folks are hanging and desperately on those goalposts. Nice to be on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We're waiting momentarily to hear from the dressing room where Johnny Esau and Anna Sturkis are fighting their way through the crowds to interview and talk to some of the participants in the game. And no doubt they'll be in the Hamilton room as well as the BC room. The police down on the plywood track, plywood was laid all around the track because of the recent rains, are having their hands full with one or two isolated troublemakers, but on the whole, they've got things pretty well under control. Do you know anybody out there on those goalposts, Steve?
No, I can't make anybody out in the mob. I really can't, but it has been a tremendous season, regardless of the fact that the outcome of this ball game, all due credits, of course, to Tiger Cats, but I'm just referring to the Lions, Stuart, in that they had such a tremendous year. This is for local consumption, I think, more than the national. But I think people in the rest of Canada can appreciate the dismal record that the Lions have had for so many years and the fine season they had this year. And I think there are bigger and better things to look forward to. As far as Vancouver football fans are concerned, the Lions seem to have hit their stride, and they'll be heard from for many years to come in one capacity or another. The Hamilton Tiger Cats had a tremendous football club. They've had a wonderful season. They are the top defensive club in the East. They've handled everybody with relative ease in the East, all things considered, and they showed their power out here this afternoon. And before this ball game even started, there were a lot of people who changed their thinking. For some strange reason, what it does, it allows people to change their thoughts. Perhaps it's just being at the site of the game itself. I don't know, but a lot of people said, gee, the Tiger Cats look pretty strong out there, don't they? And they certainly did, and they certainly came through in fine style. They've been bridesmaids for so many years and never a bride, and they had to come through today. It seemed to be their year of destiny for the Grey Cup. The Lions have been touted and called the Cinderella football team in Western Canada this year, but it just wasn't their day today. The fact that Willie Fleming was out of the ball game, he's their main offense all the way down the line, and he was rendered hors de combat early in the game, and is up for the second half entirely, had a lot to do with this football game.
Matt, we just got some information that would be a great assistance to those people out on the crossbar and the goalpost. We just found out that they are steel. So they're liable to be there come next Grey Cup time. Still not pulling them down.
Too bad we haven't got a PA system to tell them that they're wasting their energy on that thing.
Well, considering all the energy that was wasted last night, what's a few more inches of energy or whatever, or however you measure energy, cubic whatever.
I might make a comment on this great Hamilton display this afternoon, Brad. You might remember that they whipped Ottawa 45-0, I believe, in the first game. And I heard from all sorts of reports that the first half was the finest exhibition of football in many years, and they just carried on today.
Well, we received word that they're ready down in the dressing room, so for some interesting chats with the boys in the dressing room, down to Johnny Esau and...
Hello again, everybody. Down here, we are ready to meet some of the victorious Hamilton Tiger Cat players and have the official presentation of the Grey Cup. Come on in, Commissioner Halver and President Egg Duckin of the CFL. Let's bring in the captains here and make this presentation. John and Bernie. And we're just going to turn the mic over to you. Then we'll have President Jake and the coaches come in. Mr. Commissioner?
Boys, President Eric Duggan and I are very pleased to present to you this historic trophy, the Grey Cup, emblematic of the Football Championship of Canada. I'd like to congratulate you on an excellent job and to you and your teammates, boys.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, man. Let's tell the country everybody viewing about how you feel about it, and you beat a great ball club, and you did it convincingly. John and Bernie?
Just about the only thing I can say is that it's been a long time in coming. It sure is wonderful to be here.
Bernie?
Well, my wishes are the same as John's, and I want to thank quite a few of the people back home in Hamilton that sent us telegrams and had a lot of confidence in us. It has been a long time coming, but we're sure glad to get it.
You did an excellent job. The one thing about the Hamilton Tiger Cats, when they had to win the big ones, they came on and won them, and you knew you were in a big one today.
That's right. The Vancouver Lions, I might add, Johnny, have a great football team. They played well, and they played real hard. I think they're emblematic of a great football team, the best in the West.
Congratulations to both of you. Now, we're going to meet some of the other players, and let's bring in the coach here, Big Ralph Sazio. First here is the head coach. Way to go, Coach. The obvious question is, how do you feel? This is also an obvious answer. So did it go anywhere near like you thought it might do?
Well, we expected Vancouver to be tough. Our offense was kind of slow getting started, and finally I had to take the boys to the sideline and gave them a few choice words, and they came along. I think we were tight. This is the thing. The kids were, I think they really wanted to win this one, and they were, I could tell on the way down in the bus, you couldn't hear a word, and they were tight, and consequently we missed a couple passes early. But then they got into the stride of thing and did a marvelous job. I'm thrilled, John.
Ralph, it doesn't matter how many years you've been in it. When you come to that big one, you've got to have that knot right there, don't you?
You sure do. And this is a thing that I don't care whether you've been a pro 10 years. Al Patterson, I'm sure, was just as nervous as Joe Pakula, our youngest rookie.
Well, I'll tell you, old Joe went down in a couple of those kicks like he'd been around a long time. And you got that kind of help from everybody.
They sure, everybody worked well, John. I couldn't ask for anything more. They've been wonderful all year long, and heck, when you have a club like this and this kind of determination, it's easy to coach it.
Ralph, did this go anywhere near, you have a game plan, you figure what the best shots that the Lions are going to give you, and then you start finding out what they might do. Now, what happened in this ball game where you had to adjust without using the choice words you told the boys?
No, actually, we adjusted when Willie Fleming got out of there. We were emphasizing Willie throughout the game, and our whole week's preparation was based around him, and when he got hurt, unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, our concentration wasn't as great. I said we had to score 4 or 5 touchdowns to stay. I thought Vancouver would score a few more than they did.
An outstanding job,
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Let's bring in the big president here. Dick, you've been in a lot of them and around a lot of them, but this one, I suppose, feels terrific.
It sure does, John. Ralph and I have been together with the Tiger Cats for 14 years. It's nice to be together in a great win like this. And looking back this year, if you contemplate a moment, you'd realize that every game we had to win this year, these guys went out and won it.
Well, you had a ball club that was kind of juggled a little bit during the season, and I don't know how much credit has been given to top-level management of a club to suddenly find what you have to have when you need it most, and that's what you got.
Oh, don't make any mistake about that, John. It isn't top management at all that did what we accomplished this year. It was done by the coaches. It was done by these guys, particularly by the linemen. I have to get that plug in for the linemen.
Voilà, c'était le triomphe des Tiger Cats de Hamilton dans cette classique de la Coupe Breeze, Valentin de Vancouver sur les Lions de la Colombie-Britannique. Merci, Hal Patterson. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Pierre. Let's just bring in for a moment Herb Capozzi, the general manager of the British Columbia Lions. Herb, congratulations. It was a great season for you. Let's bring in President Slim Delbridge over here and get a word from the people who I think have done an outstanding job in British Columbia in getting to the Grey Cup. Congratulations to you, sir, and to you, Herb, for the campaign that you conducted in 1963, and I'm sure that all the fans would love to hear your remarks now that you have tried and didn't make it, but I'm sure the day is going to come again. Herb?
Well, you have to realize that we're pinch hitting for the people who should be here, who's our head coach and the players, because they did the job for us. I think there's one important thing about today's game. I'd certainly like to congratulate the Tiger Cats for their tremendous showing. There's certainly going to be a lot of talk about today's game and about Willie Fleming. The loss of Willie Fleming isn't what beat us. It was a great football team playing in a great game, and there should be nothing taken away from them for what they did today. And at the same time, I would like to express particular congratulations to a former teammate, Hal Patterson, who, having played in 7 Grey Cups, finally came up with a winner. We've only played in 1 and lost. We think that before we go 7 more, we're going to win one.
I'm sure you will, Herb. Very well said. President Delbridge.
I would like to compliment Jake Goddard for the fine football team that he brought out west. And I would just like to tell him to keep that Grey Cup shined up, because we are coming back next year to Toronto to try to take it away from us.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Herb. Let's bring in some more of the ball players here. There's a lot of them to hear from.
Let's bring a famous name in football. Bronco Nagurski's little boy. You come along pretty good. How was it out there? Pretty rough up front?
Well, let me say this, Duke. The BC Lions were a real fine ball club, and every time I had a block down, I think it was on 67, he gave me a shot in the head that rang my head. And same way trying to block Dick Fouts. He's a great ball player, and I think they're a real fine football club. But I think we were too, and we just wanted this game real bad.
Well, Junior, how many Grey Cup finals is this for you now?
Well, I've been at the club 5 years. We've been in it 4 times. 2 times I've been injured, and I've played in the last 2, and so finally came out with a winner. I can't believe it.
Congratulations, good luck to you, and this is one reason why those Hamilton Tiger Cats are this tough. I used to think I was a pretty big guy until I stood up beside some of you fellas. Good luck to you. We'll see you quite often. And let's bring in one my size. Come on in, Garney Henley. Number 26. Well, how does that play work? That one where you sneak down the sidelines, come out of the trap door, and pop in behind everybody, the one that actually, the play that actually broke this ball game up down.
Well, I really don't know if it broke the game up or not, but actually, all it was a drag-in pattern, and I went around the outside from the near back position or in the backfield and cleared.
Well, this is the play itself wouldn't be a mistake on the BC Lions defense. You sort of flood an area and hope that nobody notices. Is this why you're picked, because you're a little bit on the slim side, Garney?
Well, I tell you, it's real easy to hide behind some of these big guys, but this could be. I don't know. Actually, Tommy Grant did all the work on that one, plus Bernie throwing the ball. Tommy did what we call a drag in or down and into the field, and I just went off of his tail, and the defensive man actually had to go with him.
You know, the way you say it makes it sound awful easy, but folks, believe me, it isn't as easy as he makes it sound. There's an awful lot of work out there, a little bit of speed. Congratulations to Garney Henry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Come on in, Tommy Grant. You probably saw number 18 picking off a lot of passes, the key factor in the Hamilton Tiger Cat attack today. Tell me, what I'd like to know, was this a deficiency in the BC Line defense, or is this something that you people have noticed before that you worked on? Because you're pretty wide open there quite often. I think
BC plays a lot of zone, and the short patterns work a lot better on them than the long ones would, because they lay back and play mostly a zone defense, so we tried to throw a lot of short ones on them.
In other words, they're sort of giving you the short passes.
And try to keep the big one off you, yes.
The idea is you're not going to be greedy. You'll just take whatever they give.
Take it if they'll get it to us.
Now, what about that pass to that long one to Hal Patterson? What was your job on that one, Tommy?
Well, actually, that was mostly involved, I think, Hal and Dave Vitti on that one. And actually, I went down and just tried to keep my man out of Patterson's zone where he was running the pattern. And Vitti and Patterson mostly, it was a 2-man pattern between them two. And he got.
And keeping your man occupied, do you whistle or holler at him and say, "Look, I'm wide open"?
No, I wish I could.
Congratulations, Tommy Grant.
Thank you, Stu. Going to give my congratulations, Tommy. You know, in case you Hamilton fans weren't worried, there was somebody here from Hamilton that was worried today. Let's bring in Joe Rustick, the assistant coach. Congratulations, Joe, on a wonderful job. Now, when I say Hamilton was worried, it was because his phones went out for 5 minutes during the game. Tell us about that, Joe.
Johnny, I got up in the booth, and I almost panicked for the first time this year. I picked up the phone, I couldn't hear Kelly. And that's the only asset I have, talking on the phone, so they checked it out, and finally it worked after that first 5 minutes, and I felt a lot better.
Well, maybe you couldn't hear Kelly, but you didn't have to have a phone for him to hear you.
Well, I was really going to push out that window to yell down.
Joe, this is the kind of a game where probably a man like yourself up in the booth, whose big job is to spot weaknesses. Obviously, at least I noticed that you made a couple of changes, so obviously you were picking 2 or 3 holes there. How about just telling the fans out there who might be sitting and wondering about this, about 1 or 2 of them?
Well, sometimes you see certain things up there that you have to take advantage of immediately in the ball game. And to give you one example, we were running Tommy down and dragging him in, and he was open the first part of the ball game, and finally they started to hang that second man to pick him up. And that meant the deep area was open, and that's when Hal Patterson broke loose later in the ball game when we came out the second half.
Did they catch you by surprise in any particular department, Joe, that you weren't prepared for?
No, they didn't. They did one thing that we didn't expect. They put number 36 right in the middle behind Brown, and they tried to put him on our near back and send him with the flow, but that's the only thing they did that we
Joe,
didn't.
Congratulations to you, and
Thank
lots
you
of
very
luck
much.
next year. And for Stuke and myself downstairs, let's go on back upstairs now and hear a final word from the gang.
Well, gentlemen, it's been another fine season. We'd like to thank Bob Whitman, or Don Whitman and Bob Moore of the CBC. That is all the time we have got. It has been nice being with you, and the telecast of this Grey Cup game between the BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Vancouver. So long, everybody.
This is the seat of all learning. This is the key. This is the way to find out why Ford of Canada cars for 64 have become an unprecedented success. They found out in Vancouver, in Montreal, Niagara Falls, Calgary, Halifax, and they found out in Toronto that it takes first-hand experience to appreciate this kind of excitement, this kind of quality, this kind of value. Get behind the wheel of a Super Torque 64 Ford, a luxurious Mercury, a family-size Fairlane, a big value Meteor, a trim new Falcon, or a completely new Comet. You'll agree this is Ford's year. Ford of Canada's year to give you what you've really been waiting for. See your Ford or Mercury dealer.
Canadian professional football. This half of today's Grey Cup game has been brought to you by the British American Oil Company Limited and VA dealers, agents, and distributors clean across Canada. And by Ford of Canada, on behalf of your Ford dealer who sells the Total Performance Fords and your Mercury dealer who sells Comet, Meteor, and the luxurious Mercury.
This is the CBC Television Network.